wide.
Hey.
No, but that's not. Can use. Then we can go here and
No sound? Wait,
I'm so confused. Can you say
Okay, this is working.
Okay, so you hear me, Frankie.
And James, can you? Oh, it's working. He's freaking out.
Okay.
It's working. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can hear us. Now we only have
Do we sound better than we did
camera.
a second ago? We sound a lot better, right?
I hate these kinds of headphones. This is just me. But that is why.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it actually picked up the microphones finally. So
Much better, much louder.
you thought you could get away?
Damn.
Wrong.
Oh yeah.
I wonder now, since they see you, if they find. Well, wait. Actually, we all look super dark.
We're supposed to. We're trying to get the dark one in. Our Dorkside News Network. We're trying to look a little bit darker. We want to be comfortable. We want to appear. Oh, I feel comfortable.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think the chandelier is literally doing the podcast.
Unless we're being watched.
Oh,
Yeah, because I felt like it was just whitewashing us.
woo! Yeah, no, that was like if we're in Bird Box or something.
Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't.
I really hope.
where's our blindfolds?
All right, you
Guess
ready to
we'll have
record?
find out. I mean, I'm ready.
Let's restart the. All right, guys. So I don't know what's up with Streamlabs. It was showing that it was using our mics, and it's yellow and it's happy. It just wasn't. All right.
You know, it's just wants to be picky.
Now that we've fixed our audio, this is episode 2 of the Dorkside News Network. And while we'll be talking about many things, we're going to be arguing about should trilogies be rebooted. That's the main topic for
Should our childhood be rebooted?
Yes. But we do have some things that we wanted to talk about first, just like any other podcast. If you want to hear it, you just stick to the whole thing. Because we're pretending to be smart and no podcast.
And if you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or Podbean or whatever, then again, exactly. This is streamed live, so you can join the conversation. And soon our Patreons and things will be able to join us through our Discord channel.
And talk with us.
Like
physically talk. Technology is crazy nowadays, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the first thing I wanted to bring up, since it is January 2nd, and we didn't do a stream last week because it was Christmas, was, did you guys get any cool Christmas gifts?
Yes.
Actually, I'm wearing one of my Christmas gifts.
Was it the poo? The poopery? Because I know we got you that. I know it's your hat. I'm just teasing you because we got you poopery.
Yeah. It smells amazing, by the way. I've used it twice.
So it looks like, if you guys can't see, Frankie got a new hat that says it's time to get swifty.
It's totally Frankie.
Yeah. Rich, did you get anything?
Yeah. I mean, I got one of my, the pictures from my Wolverine Captain America shoot printed on metal. And so that's going to be up on the wall. And
I see your other gift over there on the wall.
Yeah, actually, I got a bunch of wall hangings, and yeah, lots of cool stuff. You know what? Surprisingly though, I got very few board games.
Actually very surprising for everybody who knows Rich and his affinity for board games. That's usually the go-to present, which I think is better because everybody was like, "We're not going to get you board games. That's what you expect from us." So we got you not board games.
Yeah. But I like new accoutrements for the bar, and Lots of cool things. Yeah, it was. I mean, I got a really great Doctor Strange shirt, so that's my thing. So
Rich gave me poop. I got poop from Rich.
I did.
That's not a joke. I mean, kind of a joke, but not really a joke. It's a board game called Poop, and I've been wanting to play it. So it's actually a really fun board game. You got to try not to clog the toilet.
So you got poop?
I got poop
from Rich. From Rich,
yeah.
And you want to know what he gave me? He gave me rocks.
Yeah. I'm creative, guys.
But I'll explain why. But that's because I'm a massage therapist and they're hot stones. If you want to know what hot stones are, I'm not going to talk about them. You can go look them up.
And then hire him. Come to Vegas, get a massage from his sexy hands.
Exactly.
There you go.
Miss Croft, did you get anything Croft related?
Not Croft related, no. But speaking of like rebooted things, I did get the remastered trilogy of Spyro.
Oh,
nice.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's a game right there.
Yeah.
You want to talk about rebooting a
details
childhood?
about that.
That's how you do it.
Exactly.
Really? I mean,
And how not to reboot a childhood is what Final Fantasy VII is doing right now and never coming out.
Exactly.
I haven't played it yet. But for me and Rich, I don't know if Rich, have you played it yet?
I have not.
You think both of us should play it?
Absolutely.
It's an amazing game.
Yeah? Okay.
Basically, it's
Looks
just
like we're
they
gonna have to have that as a
upgraded all
stream.
of the graphics.
Yep.
Like the games are the same. It's just better
I
graphics.
personally, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Spyro, but there's one game that I played at the same time as I played Spyro because they came out at the same time that I would pay anything to see rebooted, and that was Gex Enter the Gecko.
Oh, yes. I love those.
It was
Gex would be cool.
It was just a whole game about movie puns, and that's all it was. And it was such a good game, and I would love to see that one. But Spyro was amazing.
Geck was the game that started off with the James Bond parody,
Yep.
right? Yeah, okay.
It was all yeah. Aussie knows Gex. Yes, Gex was amazing. I love that one. All right, so we got the Christmas presents out of the way. Before we get into the reboots, kind of not reboots, but important news that came out in the last 2 days. I think it was yesterday or the day before. We finally got our teaser trailer for Stranger Things season 3, which
Yes.
I lost my damn mind.
You know, it's funny. I don't know the facts on this. It's only for the first season. The first season premiered the week of Halloween,
Yeah,
correct?
the second season also did.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. So that makes me wonder with our release date being the 4th of July, are we speculating it's going to have stuff about 4th of July?
They're rebooting Independence Day.
The teaser trailer showed, if you guys didn't see it, the teaser trailer basically showed the kids standing there and then fireworks going off and then the screen flipping upside down slowly and the fireworks exploding basically upside down. So that was the trailer. And I believe the reason why they're not waiting till Halloween is because they're already done with it. It's already done filming and they didn't release it every year on Halloween. They just didn't have it done in time for 2018. So they're just pushing it forward and the July 4th. And it could have something to do with it.
I also just think the dichotomy of such a happy time. It's summer. It's bright.
Exactly.
Right. It's not going to be dreary in autumn. And I think that that's going to change the story. And instead of it just being the same, like, oh, it's Halloween again and something crazy is happening again.
I have another theory with it.
All right.
With
11 becomes 12.
My theory is because of the fact, what's worse, to crush America or to crush America on the day of their independence?
America.
Yeah. I feel like that could be another thing. It's just like, let's take the day that's most important to them and just completely ruin
The
it.
only problem I have with that theory is it seems like, except for the kids and I forgot Winona Ryder's name in the show, but except for the kids and her, nobody else was really affected or seemed like they were affected. They kind of just moseyed on with their lives and didn't really know something was wrong. So like maybe some stuff blew up.
Is Noah
like,
the new girl that came in with the second season?
That's
Max.
Max?
Yeah, Max. I did see in the trailer she was standing next to.
I'm sorry, you can rage at me if I don't remember the names, guys.
No, I can't even remember the kids' names. Are you kidding me right now?
But
I'm not a name person.
I'm super excited for her, purely because she was kind of like casted out the whole second season, and towards the end, I was really happy that they really welcomed her and that she really got like.
Well, and I think the theory behind, in my opinion, was it was trying to show that these adolescent kids, nothing can tear them apart. They're friends for life. And then they're like, hey, there's a girl. And they're like, all bets are off. There's a girl. I mean, I know they did that with 11, but really they could already tell 11 kind of had an affinity towards Mike. That was his name.
Well, I think, I really think like, especially probably older kids when girls had cooties and stuff like that. I mean, literally older, like growing up in the 80s. I just feel like you had this often happen during puberty where when some of the boys started noticing girls and some of the boys didn't yet.
Girls don't have cooties. They're actually awesome.
Yeah. And so the friendships did get broken up at that point.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm sure for girls, especially more when they were split. Like, I just feel like in the 80s, it was much more boys hung out with boys and girls hung out with girls. And then probably more and more blending occurred. But I'm sure the same thing when girls start noticing boys, it changes the dynamic.
And I got to do one shout out real quick because Fabi loves it when I call her out on my podcast. She's only seen one episode of Stranger Things and has judged it on that so far. She's been like, it's all right. I'm like, you got to keep going.
Why would she keep going? She's not an 80s kid.
She almost is?
Almost
yeah,
is.
Almost is.
Well, I'm not an 80s kid.
Yeah, but you've probably consumed enough content from the 80s to maybe more appreciate some of these things from this magical time. Literally the best decade of all of the universe. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't.
Yeah, because at our age, I mean, Rich is a little older than me, but our age, we understood the importance of quarters and how they changed lives. Quarters changed lives. I played Dance Dance Revolution for hours on a couple of quarters. I don't know how I got so fat playing that game as a kid, but
you stopped.
yeah. That's the reason. Okay, so more rebooting stuff. I wanted to bring this topic up real quick because recently Fabi also just watched Big Hero 6 with us, and it was her first time watching it, and I love the movie, and I finally convinced her to sit down and watch it. And I wanted to bring this up because there's a possibility that they would make a Big Hero 6 2, if that's what it's going to be called, because there's a lot of numbers in that sentence. I don't think Big Hero 6 also or again or something. But I wanted to
Big Hero 6 knee. Start using other languages numbers.
I wanted to talk about, so if they did that, the movie revolved around the main character's brother dying, Tadashi dying. And so I wanted to bring up, what if Tadashi came back in 2?
Stop that.
Would that ruin the movie? Do you think it would ruin the movie?
Yes, it would.
Okay, so we're all in agreement that it would ruin the damn movie. I as much as I want Tadashi to come back, because that's just how you feel, it would ruin the movie. You cannot bring a character like that had such an importance on.
I feel like he would be like Two-Face. He'd have like some kind of injury or body
if he comes back as a villain, I'm okay with it.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm speaking for most of the girls, but like everyone had like a hard crush on him. If he comes back and is missing half his face, no hard crush.
Why so serious? Oh, wait, wrong.
Are you speaking for the girl characters, or are you speaking for Brandra? Like, she's the representative of all women on the planet.
He's like both.
Yeah, let's just go with both. Why not both?
All right, so because I know we're talking about if trilogies should be rebooted.
Why did it occur that even think about the brother coming back? Was that a theory?
It seems like that's just one of the things they do. Like, okay, in a sequel, if somebody died, let's bring them back. That brings drama to the series.
What if he invents a time machine and goes back to rescue his brother? Is that allowed?
I still would hate it. I would still hate it.
I'd allow it because I love time travel.
Time travel, it makes things confusing.
But as long as it fails. So at the end, the tragedy is that
he caused his brother's death anyways.
Oh, that's even better. I love that. Now you just...
The explosion that went off was actually him.
I honestly think that's too dark for Disney to go with like the storyline.
Oh, but it's not direct Disney, right? It's actually...
It's Disney and Marvel. It's a mixture of the two.
Stan Lee was involved in it. He had a voice part. He had a... at the very end,
I know, but it's not a Disney Studios.
Yeah,
it's
I don't believe
Pixar
at the time...
or somebody.
I don't know if at the time Marvel owned it or Disney owned Marvel yet. It's been so long.
Oh, it was Marvel?
No, yeah. They had some play in it. There was...
What do you mean play? Well, there's only one studio. There's like exactly one studio that made it. It's either a Pixar film or it's a Disney film or it's a Marvel Studios film. Like
It wasn't a Marvel
made
Studios
it?
film. I think
It wasn't a
was
Marvel
Pixar.
Studios.
I thought it was Pixar.
I think it was Pixar. But it was kind of semi-set in the universe because of Stan Lee being there.
No, that's absolutely fine. I mean, the writers are different, but
Yeah.
but as a Pixar film, it can be a little bit darker than a Disney film.
Every time I get into the darker things, because of 2018, the motto of the 2018 Comic-Con was "Fuck Batman" because of the Titans trailer.
That's your one.
Oh, well, there goes our PG-13.
Yeah.
No, he's allowed one.
That's what I'm saying. But for it to keep a PG-13, there goes the one.
Okay, so again, keeping in line, I am late to some of the parties and finally saw Venom. And I mean, it's not a reboot or anything, but it's definitely, I wanted to talk about the possible, more than likely sequel that would be coming with that. And Woody Harrelson, really?
Why do you think there's going to be a sequel? Just because of what you saw in the movie?
Yeah, because
That's not a reason.
at the very end,
It's not a reason.
Woody Harrelson
I thought
said
they
there's
already
going to
said
be
that.
carnage.
That's literally not how movies work.
It's supposed to be their tie-in, their little in-joke.
That's only if they actually make their numbers.
Yeah. And, I mean, and I didn't hate Venom. It was fun for me.
I did.
It wasn't.
I did.
It wasn't really Venom. I thought it was funny though. But again,
I thought it was funny, and I enjoyed watching the movie, and I wish it had not been made.
But here's the question. Do you prefer Venom over Spider-Man 3?
Oh, that's rough.
Wait,
Emo Spider-Man.
Why? Why would you do this to me?
Emo hair.
I haven't even
Venom was in
seen
both
Venom.
technically because Venom was in Venom and Venom was in Spider-Man 3.
yeah, like we didn't see Venom in either of those movies.
Fair enough.
I would have loved if this movie had been named like Black Mask. Then I would have been like, wow, this is
Not
cool.
Venom,
I want to
Not Venom, but its brother Poison.
just Poison. Yeah. Let's not have Eddie Brock named Eddie Brock, and let's not have him not work for the Daily Bugle. I mean, what the hell? Like, why did he work for the Daily Planet, Global Planet? I think they had him work for the Global.
Yeah. It wasn't Daily Bugle.
And it was like, why would you do this? Why would you intentionally like spit on the fans by saying that this is basically not Eddie Brock? This is right. Eddie Brock worked at the Daily Bugle.
This is Eddie Bro.
This is some other guy who worked for some other news agency.
I feel like we've seen this once before. We call that the Eric Bana effect, when they did that in the very first Hulk, when it wasn't Bruce Banner, it was Eric Bana.
Yeah,
and it was
and it's fine. You know, if Chinese moviegoers, spend more money watching movies, and supposedly that's who these things are for. That's why things are getting weird. Then just have it be some guy in Shanghai. I'd love to see it.
You let me into the perfect segue, so I have to take it. There is a movie on Netflix called Animal World, and I firmly believe everybody should watch this movie. Rich is probably sick of hearing about it because I've told him to watch it like 4 times now, but it is a Chinese movie. It's completely Chinese, no dubbing. It's all in subtitles. And it started off with a clown murdering aliens and very quickly went into a life or death game of rock, paper, scissors. I don't know how we got there. I don't know, but it was a visually entertaining and just all in all funny, good movie, but it was completely off the deep end. And then to throw things off the edge, I suddenly forgot his name now. I have to look it up. There was an American actor that played the quote unquote villain of the movie. And
of course the Americans are the villain.
And of course he spoke English too. The only time in the movie that he speaks. Michael
Douglas. A cane?
Michael Douglas was the bad guy in this one. He ran the ship where the rock, paper, scissors death game took place.
He spoke English instead of Chinese?
I think he did, yeah. If I remember correctly.
Did they subtitle him?
They did subtitle it.
That's good.
So, but I mean, we had it in English subtitles, so it wouldn't be Chinese subtitles for us. But no, I really do think it was one of those movies. And Danny once told me that the weirdest movie what was it called? The Deer Hunter?
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Killing of a Sacred Deer was the weirdest movie she's ever seen. Now, I haven't seen it, but she's told me many times. And even though I haven't seen it, I would like to put this up against that one that she saw because it is weird. It's just weird. And this is one of those movies where you just start watching it and you're like, what is happening?
I don't like subtitles. So
it's some people just can't handle the subtitles, and I get it because Rich is one of those guys who's always doing something no matter what. So he doesn't have
4
time
screens
to sit down and read subtitles while he's doing other things.
Yeah, it's hard.
Frankie and I basically live on anime, so that's nothing new for us.
I like dubbing.
It's a second nature. But wait, Frankie, do you prefer subs or dubs?
Okay, so I guess I would enjoy subs.
The weeb is strong with this one.
Mainly subs, but if it's an older anime with like preferable voice actors from America, then
by preferable you mean ones that you know?
Yeah.
It's fair. I mean, I enjoy listening to the Japanese and hearing the few words I understand here and there, and like "Nani desu ka?" like there's these things, and it's immersive and by all means. But I don't focus on a movie. I like to multitask, and so no, I'm done with subtitles.
You don't understand
in general.
how advanced Rich is. Rich could have 4 movies going and see all of them at the same time. I can't focus like that. That's how when I asked him if he's ever watched a series before, he's like, yep, I had it playing when the other series was going.
Not Animal World.
Not Animal World, though. It's
subtitles.
It's just a 2-hour movie. It's on Netflix. If you guys get a chance to check it out. That's my weird plug, even though China has never contacted me to do that. I really do believe it was a fun movie. It should be watched. So
they're going to sponsor you with gold farming. They'll be like, here's 6 million gold if any game currency you want.
That's what you get. In real quick sequel news, since we're all about reboots and trilogies and sequels, Zombieland 2 just began filming just a day ago. And
I want Twinkies.
Yeah, not ding dongs, right? Is that what it was? Ding dongs that he got really upset about?
Yeah.
And the one Twinkie he did get had a bullet in it. That was great. There's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon because Woody Harrelson's back again.
Woody Harrelson's back, and then you say his name, Jesse Eisenberg.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Jesse Eisenberg was Lex Luthor in.
Oh no, I
don't think he was.
I'm
scrubbing him from my brain.
I swear he's in Zombieland, isn't he?
I don't think he is. I'm gonna while we sit here and chat, I'm gonna IMDb.
I swear, I swear he's the main guy that like gets goofed.
You're right. I am wrong. It is Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh wait.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg.
He played the good Zombieland character, but the bad.
I prefer not to think about him being Lex Luthor because I actually like that actor.
Yeah,
I just hate him as Lex Luthor. I feel sad that you reminded me that those are the same people.
Yeah, honestly, because like I was gonna say that I haven't seen Jesse Eisenberg for a while, and then you named Lex Luthor, and I was like, I forgot that was him.
Now, what's sad to think about is we're talking about all the actors that are going to be in this movie. Obviously, Bill Murray's not going to be in this movie. Because in that world, watch the movie if you haven't seen it. You'll understand the joke. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of movies, and we'll come back to them in a second. I needed to talk about video games real quick, though, because there was...
All right, is this the video game segment?
Yes, a video game segment. There was a lot
We'll have like music to like... interrupt different segments.
Just received word a few days ago. Anthem's demo is coming out January 25th. Anthem is supposed to be the rival to Destiny, and from a lot of people are saying it's supposed to be the good Destiny.
I hope it's the garbage game. It dies.
So
I'm negative today. I
want to know, James, since we've been friends for quite a while.
This is serious.
You loved Destiny. You were like hardcore playing Destiny when I lived in one of the apartments. Yep. You were just coming over consistently and talking about matchmaking. Yep. So how do you feel about Anthem? Like what's your perception on it?
I'm glad because I gave Destiny a second chance with Destiny 2 to give me more story, and they, for lack of a better term, Destinied it and didn't give us everything we wanted.
No, he's not lying.
Releasing it slowly again. And I'm just tired of that model. I mean, I know that's how they make their money now, but I want my entire game.
That's not how they make their money. That's a choice that some games make.
But that's a choice that's working for Destiny. I mean, if it didn't work, they wouldn't have a sequel.
Yeah. I don't know that it's necessarily working. It's worked, but I think that they're trying to capitalize off of the multiplayer because I don't think they're making as much as they used to. And they look at Fortnite and they see how much money Fortnite made, and they say, why didn't Destiny make as much? And they refuse to believe that the reason why Destiny is not making as much as Halo is because it's all multiplayer and very little story.
But I feel, even though as much as I am the #1 Halo hater, I hate that game.
People still want to see Master Chief.
I did play all the way through the first Halo, and I played a lot of multiplayer back when it came out. And both the story and the multiplayer were good in Halo. But in Destiny, it's just the story could have been good had it been there. I didn't have to pay for 4 expansions to find out what's going on.
But dude, even with the second one, the story, once again.
That's what I meant. I gave them a second chance to give me the story I was looking for, and they broke it up into pieces again.
Dude, the story in the second one was getting so good, and then it was just like, yeah, we'll see you on the next update. And it's like, oh.
Well, you say it's good, and I mean, I agree it was good, but can Nathan Fillion catch a damn break? He dies everywhere. He got canceled in Firefly. He got killed in Destiny 2. Jeez, man, leave him alone.
I just think that these game companies,
they're mad because he told her to get her rock off his map.
Get your rock off my map.
Like, why are you playing a multiplayer only game and complaining that there's not enough story?
Because it's
multiplayer only.
It's not multiplayer only.
It's not supposed to be really
you can
like
go through the entire game solo with no help.
Yeah.
There is raids just like Warcraft would.
Actually, you cannot play the game offline.
You can't play it offline, but you can play it solo. You don't need anybody's help.
True. You can play it solo online. Which makes weird, it's like solo. Yeah,
it's like multiplayer matchmaking, and you choosing not to let anybody else in your match.
No, but you can turn on the game and not join anybody's party, and not have anybody near you, and just do your own thing. Nobody will participate in your stuff unless you want them.
Yeah,
it sticks. It glues everything that happens in the world. Everybody you kill, it's all there
for you.
Yeah,
for you. You can go back there a month later. It's still there.
It depends on which characters we're talking about. If we're just talking about NPCs, no, NPCs respawn. Yeah,
they might change it.
Wait, why do NPCs respawn? That doesn't make sense. When you kill somebody in Fable, they stay dead.
Well, I'm talking about like monsters, like drop monsters.
No, monsters respawn. That's fine, but NPCs.
No, if there's a character dead, and
if you killed a certain boss or whatever in the game, then they're dead in the game.
They're dead in the game, and there will be parts that other people can't see or can't participate in yet because they haven't completed the story parts yet.
I still think it's like you're playing, instead of you playing a single player game with friends, which is what like Mass Effect or Halo lets you do. Instead, it's multiplayer that you're just choosing to play with nobody else.
Yeah, I can.
That's what I think is like the problem, because they're not even, and they don't even market it as like, hey, there's a 30-hour campaign.
They know they can't market it because the story's just not there. Yeah. And again, it's because, like you said, if they had started with, let's make it a single player, let's start with the single player mode in mind first and not the multiplayer, maybe it would have done better.
And I think it's the same with Anthem. Anthem will be identical because EA owns them. And so EA wants that sweet, like $1 billion Fortnite money.
Do you think, because Anthem's all about flying machines, you think you'll have to pay, $20 to get the right arm of the machine or the left foot?
It won't be that ridiculous, but you'll be able to pay for a better one. They'll probably make it random or something so that they're going to say, you don't pay to win, you just pay to buy more chances to win.
So that's the thing is, actually now I've seen a few lawsuits coming up where they're saying you cannot do that in games anymore. They're trying to, the government is trying to bring down.
Yeah, Hawaii is leading that charge, I believe.
It's because of what they did with Battlefront.
Yeah.
I'm glad if that's what they want to do, take my loot boxes away because they messed up Battlefront so bad. Please
Well, loot boxes are fine. You just can't sell them.
Well, see, their issue specifically with Battlefront was loot boxes are fine. You can't sell them to make your character better. They can only be cosmetic things.
So it's like Maple Story.
Yes.
That's where I think those were the issues. But the government is coming down on them saying it's gambling because of you're paying money to try and get something.
Because of the chance you'll get a rare to get the better item or whatever.
It's crazy. So Anthem's demo is coming out January 25th, and I guess we'll find out then if the demo was worth it or not.
Well, what do you think? Do you have any interest in Anthem?
You probably play a lot more games than I do.
Well, I mean, the fact that EA is behind it has me questioning things because they did just mess things up so bad with Battlefront. So it's just, I don't know.
Now, okay, in your opinion, Rich, because you and me are heavy, mostly heavy Blizzard fans, who messed up more this year or last year? Was it EA or was it Activision?
Oh, man. What does the world come to when Blizzard is... I mean, it's Activision, though, right? Activision is finally exerting control, and Blizzard is no longer a gamer's game company. It is a money-making machine.
Yep. I feel like they've put the final nail in the coffin for one of their best games. They've
Wait, what's the final nail?
By removing or moving many developers off of the game and slowing down the direct quote was slowing down the cadence of the release. So there's going to be less this year than there was last year.
Which means there'll be less players. So that's this recursive.
Yes, and then taking away the tournaments as well. There's no tournaments anymore for people to compete in. So why tune into the game? That's what it was started on.
To be honest, I'm done with it. I have no intention of playing it anymore. So I was a huge Heroes of the Storm fan the year before 2017 and most of 2018. And now I don't see any reason to get better at the game. And a lot of people, I follow the Reddit Heroes of the Storm channel, and people are like, why not just keep playing? Like, even if they freeze the game right now, it's fun right now. Just keep playing it. And I'm like, no, that makes no sense. It makes no sense to play a fun game right now if you know that there's another different fun game out there, that if you invest your time and energy playing that different other fun game, which will be just as fun or more fun, that the game will reward you with more stuff. And and let's just be honest, if you give up on the future skills, like, right? Because when you play Heroes of the Storm, you enjoy going up in the ranks and playing against better people and seeing more clever combos and techniques and things like that. And if that's not there, there is actually more fun games out there.
Overwatch does that. Overwatch has their tournaments, and people try and mimic the Overwatch professionals by picking specific team comps, specific characters, doing the same things. And it seems like that's how they were getting people into the game. They want to try and do the same thing the pros are doing, and they find out that it's actually really hard to do that. It's the same thing in Heroes, but when there's no tournaments to have anymore, what do we do? And I feel like it was the worst possible. Shut up, Frank. I feel like it was the worst possible time to do, because they just released a character a few months ago that was, in literal terms, game changing, because it was the first original character for Heroes of the Storm. It was a Heroes of the Storm only character. It came out in that universe.
Thank you for the follow.
Hey, what's up?
It's a great name, Fearless Rage.
Not Fearless Rage. It was Gabriella 666 something.
Oh, Fairlane GG, new subscriber, even better. Hello.
Sweet. But yeah, Orpheus.
And Gabriel. I don't know. Our text is out of date. I don't know
Orpheus release gave me very high hopes.
Well, they have said hello.
And then shortly after Orpheus release, they went, "Hey, we're done. We're done making stuff on it now." I mean, Imperius is a new character that's coming out in a week or two.
Didn't it seem like the new characters in Heroes of the Storm were even better than previous? I don't know, better, but like more interesting, and they were just doing so much to really make the game seem cool and different. Hey, Gabriel, like, I'm doing great. This is, I've got my rum and Coke, and we're talking about a game I love, but I'm no longer playing. So it's a bittersweet conversation.
Yeah. Now, Denny is here, and she's off camera enough, Mike. She can still hear everything we're saying. But I wanted to bring up one of her favorite game series, because
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's, yeah. one of her favorite game series, which there's been very little talks of, and I wanted to talk about it because of, my one voice talking about it might push forward. No, it's not going to do anything. But Borderlands 3. Danny are huge fans of the Borderlands series, and
oh my god, you said that, and Twitch has Borderlands 2 now playing by Blur.
wow,
that's so weird.
That's so weird.
Very strange. Your friend just started playing it too. The one thing, I don't know, Danny, you can either shake your head or just scream yes, but would you want Tiny Tina to be the next playable character?
I mean, is that a question?
I only ask her because she cosplays Tiny Tina. I would love to see her as a playable character. I want to know what else is going on, because at the end of Borderlands 2, you find out, hey, your vault is, that's just one, and there's 7,100,000. There's a bunch. There's more.
The thing is, would we want her older? Would you want her to gain age? Or
yes.
Still be 13?
I want her to be older, but only a few years, because I want it to seem like some time has passed, but not too much, like maybe 15, 16. I mean, who doesn't want to play a 16-year-old girl who murders everything in sight?
I'm on board.
Especially with her attitude. And Ashley Birch is an amazing voice actress for that character. But yeah, and there's still more story to see. I want to see Roland come back. It ain't gonna happen.
It ain't happening.
No.
I just want to know like what kind of class difference they're gonna make, because like each game has just kind of had each class somewhat change
Slightly different. Yeah,
slightly different.
They've released a siren, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah. So there's been a siren every game, except for the one with Handsome Jack. There was technically no siren for that.
Well, all of them have Handsome Jack. I think you mean the pre-sequel, though.
I meant that. The prequel. The prequel.
Pre-sequel was terrible.
The pre-sequel.
Yeah, the pre-sequel. You couldn't play any siren, correct? Because everybody was just.
No, I think you're right. Technically, if you're going to go by abilities alone, Handsome Jack was the siren.
Yeah.
Really?
Even though he's not a siren,
He would have.
he played as the siren. He played like a siren.
Because I didn't play the pre-sequel. I just never had the time.
It wasn't the same.
I don't like
definitely.
gravity.
And the gravity thing.
Yeah, I did. I heard mixed reviews on it.
I really, really want to see these characters come back. I loved that game. I loved the 1 million different weapons you could get in the game. You could farm forever and get a legendary that it's just not the same as anybody else's legendary. It has different things on it.
I hope Claptrap has to go up some stairs.
Claptrap always has to go
that's
upstairs.
another one. I mean, how many times has the internet screamed at them to make Claptrap a playable character?
He is a playable character.
But I mean, even more so. To just continue it with the numbered ones. I know it's the pre-sequel, but to play with the people he's been traveling with.
Yeah. I don't understand how... Did he jump in that game? He didn't jump, right?
I don't know.
I forget.
Played Claptrap.
He was hard.
Vision was slightly off. I couldn't do it.
It's a little rough playing as Claptrap. So this is a topic I was talking about with Rich last week that I knew we were going to have an argument about. So we saved it to have our argument here. Sports games, do we need them?
No, specifically, he's saying, do we need to keep coming out with another version of Madden, another version of...
Does there need to be Madden 2019, FIFA 2019?
And I say yes.
So I'm going to say yes because I know a streamer who's a celebrity who backs up Madden a lot. A lot.
But so my thing is when they come out with a sequel to a game, which technically 2019 would be a sequel to 2018, right? It's the next one in the line. Mm-hmm. Mechanics change. Does anything change from 2018 to 2019?
So I disagree. This is the
players.
It's not a sequel. It's not really a sequel. It's an iteration. And people want to play with their favorite people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's more like a fighting game where you're like, oh, well, I like this new character. I really want to play this new character against these other people. And so you can say, oh man, I'd love to have the players from the team now, which is new, right? There's new players, and I want to play with them against the old greats that I liked 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's like they want like Mean Joe and I don't know, a new football player.
And if we're talking about this, then why can't I see Kobe Bryant playing against Bugs Bunny? I want to see that. I want to see the Space Jam battle.
I mean,
they have that game though.
Yeah,
do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do have Space Jam.
But like, I mean, if you want a Space Jam game, technically, I mean, this goes off of the sequel trilogy stuff you're talking
NBA
about.
Jam, aren't you?
No, I'm gonna say that Space Jam 2 is coming.
Oh, let's not even talk about that.
I mean, give
talk about ruining a childhood. Why did
James,
Space Jam 2 need to even be announced?
LeBron James, I think,
James.
Kids don't even know who Bugs Bunny is anymore. What's the point?
Yeah, you know, I think honestly it'd be more interesting if, like, instead of picking the group of the teen or the Looney Tunes. There we go. I am blanking. But if they picked, even though I don't really like it, if Steven Universe was like the people LeBron James played basketball with, or I don't know, Adventure Time. I'm trying to pick like popular.
I want to see Ocean Jam made.
Ocean Jam?
SpongeBob.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I could really see SpongeBob.
Really.
I could hear Kayla screaming through the mic right now that she'd want that more than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why can't we have our superheroes playing games, huh? I want to see Aquaman playing basketball against Superman or something.
I am actually shocked. You know, with the way that movies are.
One of our viewers just say Laura Croft, Tomb of the Basketball.
Yes.
I am a little bit shocked with superhero movies making $1 billion a pop. Well, if Disney makes them, not DC. But I'm shocked that you can't pay for DLC to have these movie characters added into your Madden team.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to have, there's going to be a stat cap, obviously, with stuff, but it would still be just fun.
Harry Potter in the basket of ball.
I want to see the Hulk do a 20,000-yard pass.
Yes.
And
I would probably buy these games.
Dunk.
There you go. We're calling it right now. The 2019, the year of the superhero sports franchise.
There you go.
Dude, is it going to be
get on it, guys?
Is it going to be like what's the other Andy, like the basketball company Andy? They always do like trick shots and stuff. But if it's like Andy 1 comes to you with Marvel superstars.
Oh, you're talking about And One, the street boss bout? Yeah.
Like I could see that. I could see them.
It could work.
Because they take an already goofy.
Frankie is the North American basketball champion. Honestly, thought he was joking, but that's the only thing that he said that is actually just serious.
All right, so let's. We got a couple more topics I was hoping to get into, and they're all about the trilogy stuff. So the one thing I wanted to ask our Indy Croft cosplayer, who lives for Indiana Jones and Laura Croft.
She's an actual archaeologist who plays
Nathan Drake.
All the Indy.
Nathan Drake too.
She is the real life Indy Croft.
I am
the cross between Indiana Jones. Yeah, you guys get it. If there should be another Indiana Jones movie and how it should happen, because there was so I listened to a Kevin Smith podcast a lot, and he was talking movies with characters can be remade. For instance, movies like Han Solo, like they can be spawned off and made, but they need to be characters with masks, or anybody there you can't see your face. That way, the character you're seeing didn't age because the mask doesn't age. The mask, the person behind the mask will always be someone different, but the mask itself won't change. You can do a Boba Fett movie 300 times, have a different actor every time, but it's still Boba Fett. You don't know the difference.
But actors
to kind of go against what you're saying, like you're saying with the mask. But there's one particular character I think of that never wears a mask, has the same name, but is a completely different person every game. Mm-hmm. And that's Link. Link never wears he wears masks, yes, in one of the games, but technically Link has looked the same, like face-wise, throughout all of his games.
But he's completely disagree, because that's why there's 4 different Links to play as in Smash.
Well, I mean,
Toon Link, Breath of the Wild Link,
age-wise.
Young Link.
But I think
Link.
if they were all supposed they all have that bangs like that. Are those have a specific name? That hairstyle. I don't know what it is.
Link hair.
Yeah, but
the hanging sideburn thing.
Yeah, the hanging sideburn things, being blonde, and his blue eyes, and just very baby faced.
Yeah,
super baby.
You're also talking about Link, who's completely computer generated. I'm talking about a movie where there's somebody behind the mask.
Here's the problem with what.
Oh, sorry. So like Ozzy is saying from Twitch, Death Race has Frankenstein, and it's always a different person, but they always wear a mask, so you never know.
Yeah. Boba Fett, with my Star Wars example, it could literally be any actor in the world, but Boba Fett will always be Boba Fett.
I totally disagree.
Yeah, because what about James Earl Jones and Darth Vader? Like, you never see who's behind the mask, but without that voice, it wouldn't be Darth Vader.
That's okay. I agree there. It's a little different, yeah. But it's because the voice was so iconic that it was a different person. It's the person that played Darth Vader isn't James Earl Jones.
Right.
It was, I believe, David Yost.
So this doesn't count for superheroes?
No,
It does count for superheroes.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
So then, one of the subjects that we could bring up with it is Iron Man, because we're gonna get
We
one.
can't do that, but you can literally just bring it up. You can't talk. You just say this. I mean, we're literally doing it right now, so this isn't a planning session.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like one of the subjects we could talk about later. Like, well, wait a minute, we're literally talking about right now.
Back to what I was getting at was Indiana Jones. If they made a seventh one, eventually Harrison Ford won't be here anymore. There's going to be a time with a world without Harrison Ford in it. Can you still do an Indiana Jones movie with no Harrison Ford if you're not going to use CGI in it?
We got to bring the kid back.
That's what I'm saying. So can you do the kid? And if Indiana Jones was just a mask that somebody wore, it can always be someone different. But because
it can't be. What are you talking about?
That's because Indiana Jones is Harrison.
That's not
Ford.
what masks do in movies.
It's the hat. The hat gives
The
you.
hat.
I'm just saying
It's the hat and the whip.
No, I'm saying that. No, I'm saying no.
I'm saying yes.
Well, I disagree because modern movies, the actors refuse to wear the mask. There's a reason for that, because they'll lose their jobs if they allow them to agree to a movie with a mask.
No, and I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. It's much easier.
Wait. So when the Boba Fett series comes out,
yes,
I promise you, in his contract, he will say in his contract that he's going to take the mask off all the time, at least half the time.
We'll see. I'd be interested to see.
I promise you.
I want to see it. I really do want to see it.
Because I don't think you can give me an example of any mainstream successful movie thing where a character has kept their mask on, ignoring like CG, like, Infinity War with the villains. I mean, obviously,
Thanos never took his mask off.
Yeah.
There's some.
Give me an example.
He just said Death Race.
I don't even know what Death Race is. So that's mainstream.
It's a Grindhouse film, right?
If you didn't like Twisted Metal, you probably wouldn't want to watch Death Race. If you didn't like Twisted Metal,
Twisted Metal, the video game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you
I love Twisted Metal,
then you would
a video
love
game.
Death Race. Like I shit you not. It's like Death Race is like legitimately.
Or if you see Wreck-It Ralph.
So is Death Race on CW? Is it Death Race in movie theaters? Where do I see Death Race?
It's a movie.
I think it's on Netflix. Yes, I think it's still on Netflix.
Yeah, Death Race. I think 20 whatever.
I think it's like 2014.
There's like 3 different ones.
There's like 3 different ones.
7. Oh, God.
So do these come to movie theater?
Because one went
And then straight to DVD after that or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think if I know my stuff, and I'm not saying I do.
How old's the original Death Race?
I think it was a Grindhouse film.
No, but see, that's a perfect example of like, it's not a new successful thing.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
See, because old Boba Fett, he kept a mask on. Old Darth Vader, he didn't even have his own voice. That's just older. Like, I just feel like directors were like dictators in the past, and now actors are smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I think we're arguing 2 different things here. I'm saying that it's much easier for a movie to be remade if the mask doesn't come off because.
Okay, Chewbacca.
Well, I'm saying that they won't allow it though. They won't allow it.
No, and I agree because that's dumb of them to do that.
But yeah, because
if the mask didn't come off, if there was a mask in it, it's a lot easier for them. If Boba Fett never took off his mask in the beginning,
So
in
mask is
episode 1 and
supposed to
2,
be something
they
like
could do 100.
Take off.
They could do 100 Boba Fett movies with 100 different actors, and it would still be Boba Fett.
The only
I mean, the voice is the most important part for the most part. So I don't know. I mean,
no, he takes off. Fuck. I'm trying to think of a superhero or a villain who never does. Because like the first things that came to mind was Red X from Teen Titans. He technically never takes his mask off.
Is that a cartoon?
Yeah.
We're talking about movies.
Yeah.
Right. Like movies.
Obviously, with cartoons, they can just
they can just pencil something else in.
And then I was going to say Slade, but yeah.
Deadpool. I mean, but Deadpool.
He constantly takes his mask off.
He does take his mask off.
It's kind of a joke, honestly, right? It's kind of a joke that you're like, wait a minute, you're both fighting each other. Why would you just suddenly take off your mask? Don't you think that news copters have like telescoping, cameras and stuff? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense. But that's just, they went to film school or acting school or something, and they really want to show the emotions on their face. And it's a joke. I think it's ridiculous, but that's what we have until we have CG Google movies.
So coming back to the topic at hand, then, can we do another Indiana Jones movie successfully? And I say that because the first 3 Indiana Jones movies were amazing. I don't see a problem with any of them. I loved all of them. I've rewatched all of them. I've seen them hundreds of times. The Crystal Skulls was a travesty to the entire Indiana Jones franchise. Good. You'd want to bleach your eyes out. It was awful.
So I want to know another part that would help with the Indiana Jones movie being rebooted is what?
Woo! Thanks, Gabriel.
Are we talking about a continuation or a reboot?
A continuation or a reboot?
No, but let's talk about them separate. Which one is which?
So a reboot. So if we're gonna do a reboot,
and that
what are some what other temples do we have they not like technically gone to?
You don't need that. We could use the exact same temple, but do a different story or a different character.
I want a different temple.
Do a different actor.
So there is a 1993 video game set. It was kind of like King's Quest, like point and click adventure game. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Atlantis or something. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind them making that into an actual movie. It was actually a stop motion kind of game. I don't know.
So that sounds awesome.
That was fun. I think that there's basically you can take almost any of the Lara Croft stories and just say, you know what, let's make an Indiana Jones story where he's exploring a Mayan temple or something.
Well, I mean, and there's plenty of indie novels and comic books too.
How many novels do they have? Do they have dozens, hundreds?
There's a lot.
Is there?
Actually, probably.
Is there ever one when they go to like the floating garden of Eden?
It should be Babylon? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hanging Gardens. There might be. I'm not positive.
I think I'm trying to come up with an example that's not confusing everybody. I think the best one is Tomb Raider, actually. Speaking of having a Tomb Raider cosplayer here. Tomb Raider and the next movie, Tomb Raider, they were supposed to be the same movie. She's a Tomb Raider, and she raids tombs. And there's not a specific one that she's raiding, but that's what I'm saying. You have Angelina Jolie as one, and oh man, she's such a good actress, and I forgot.
Alicia Vikander.
Thank you for the new one, and they are the same concept. They're completely different actresses, and one is clearly better than the other one. But is the reboot? Did it work? Did it not work?
So I think basically what you're exploring is Indiana Jones his own character? Or is he actually the actor?
Yes.
And to me, Indiana Jones, I think I disassociate Indiana Jones from Harrison Ford. He is not Harrison Ford to me. He is Indiana Jones. And so if I read a story of Indiana Jones or play a video game of Indiana Jones, he's still Indiana Jones. I don't really care that Harrison Ford is or isn't. And he might be the best person who played Indiana Jones, but to me, Indiana Jones is like James Bond, and that it's
changed so many times.
You could cycle him out, but you have to start it and you have to do a good job. because if you start that first reboot and you do not even reboot, so let's ignore reboot. I think reboots is a bad idea. But if they just did a continuation and you said, you know what, we're going to have 20 Indiana Jones over the next 25 years. Indiana Jones is the American James Bond.
So yeah, that's what I was.
You're just saying you can have
basically,
but you have to do a good job.
Yeah, well, because even like I'm a James Bond fan, and there's James Bond actors that are great, and then there's ones that I really wish didn't ever play James Bond.
Yeah,
you don't need to talk about Roger Moore like that.
But yeah, like I mean, that's basically what it's going to come down to. Is the trilogies are probably still going to happen, still going to be rebooted, remade, or continued.
Is that the plan? Is that why we're talking about it?
Well, there's a sequel in the works, so
To
Indiana Jones 5. Yeah.
Yes, and it's scary because the big topic of conversation for people was: is it a sequel to Last Crusade? Was the last one, right? Before Crystal Skull.
Yes.
So is it a sequel to the Last Crusade, or is it a sequel to the Crystal Skull? Because those are two wildly different.
Well, and see, they could always do what they did with Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom isn't actually a sequel; it's a prequel. It takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, I mean, technically, they could do it that way if they wanted to, but it would be kind of weird that he's 10 years older than he was in the last film. So, like, during the 80s, it was easier to get away with that. He didn't look so drastically older.
So what if they what if they do to him what they did with Solo? So they cast some 22-year-old, and it's like, well, really, little did you know that Indiana actually, when he was 22, he did these whole other adventures.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones in the preschool whip training. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they could do like the TV show, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Which is fun. I liked it, actually.
Yeah, it was a good show.
I don't know much about it, so I can't really put my opinion on it.
You know, Ozzy asked whether or not they should reboot Jurassic Park.
Well, so, okay. When you say reboot, do we consider Jurassic World a reboot, a sequel? What are we considering this as?
Sequels. They're
Because
sequels.
it is a sequel, and yes, the Jurassic Park of old was in the new.
But it was almost like a soft reboot, right? Because there's very few of the actors still in there. It's almost it's basically an all new cast, and I think it was perfect. I went into it expecting to hate it, and I came out of it like, wow, I love Jurassic Park again.
I only had one problem with Jurassic World, and that was there was no sexy Jeff Goldblum. And I mean the one leaning over the, and holding his.
Sexy?
No, I know that. I'm talking about Jeff Goldblum in the sexy pose. Because I collect Pops, the Funko Pops. In the Funko Pop world, we call that the sexy Jeff because that's his pose. Even though he's clearly nursing a wound and he's not being sexy at that time, the pose he's in looks like he's laying down like a David Hasselhoff. I don't even know why I'm saying David Hasselhoff isn't a sexy. I don't know. Anyways, that's the sexy Jeff Goldblum. And I know Jeff Goldblum was. I don't think I've seen Jurassic World 2. He was in that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Briefly, I think.
And I want to talk about Jurassic World 2, the second one, because I was not pleased with it.
Well, my issue is when I've seen, I think 2 of the 3 original Jurassic movies, and then I saw Jurassic World, and it's to me it's like any of the other horror movies like Jaws and stuff. How many times do they need to mess this up before they stop doing it? Like Jurassic Park didn't work.
That's what I mean.
Jurassic World isn't going to work. Why do you guys keep trying this thing? It's not working.
Because they're human.
I can be God. I show you. I messed up. Whoops.
I have Jurassic World 2. I will let you borrow it so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I haven't
You
seen
actually
it.
let me borrow Jurassic World
both
1.
of you
and
haven't
I
seen
enjoyed it.
Ooh.
It just didn't stand out to me as something I really wanted to see. So,
I think it was just a setup for the next one.
I mean,
That's all it was.
yeah.
I'm going to bring in a topic from our last / first podcast since we're on this. Godzilla.
Gojira.
I am not even remotely close to saying that I'm a huge Godzilla fan, but holy shit, this movie
It does look amazing.
amazing. And I mean, I know a little bit of Godzilla stuff, like, the monsters and stuff. And It was like
I'm also the North American champion for Godzilla. So you can ask.
The last Godzilla movie was decent, but it felt like
decent.
Yes, it was decent. It felt like it was missing stuff, and then in this one, it was
I'll give you.
What monsters are we missing? Let's give them all to you.
What category is Godzilla? Don't help him. Don't help him, people.
Category? Like,
yeah. What type of creature is he?
Oh, he's a kaiju.
Okay, I'm just making sure here.
So does that mean we can get in robots and fight them?
No, seriously, I've had this conversation with our buddy Parker. Seriously, I looked at it. Both the companies that make Pacific Rim and Godzilla, the Paramount films, and he was like, oh, well, one only sponsors or, has their name in it because they helped fund it. And I was like, that's still enough for the two movies
to interact. Because Pacific Rim was about killing kaiju. That was the thing. So
and I think it would be
robot to fight Godzilla.
I don't think it would be they would be fighting. I think what would be great is because since Pacific Rim, like they're losing, like because in the second one they were losing to the kaiju. I think it'd be great if we went with the storyline that I always enjoy with Godzilla being the hero, being the protector of Earth, like coming out to help.
Well, isn't he the hero in King of Monsters?
Mm-hmm.
But is he? Yeah, would we consider him an anti-hero? Like, yes,
he's an anti-hero.
He's saving stuff, but he's wrecking shit.
No, in a few of the films, the like earlier films, there's like temples in Japan that specifically like they contact, and they're usually two twins that help summon either Mothra or Godzilla, or usually both, because both of them are guardians.
Okay, so not straying too far from this topic, but we're talking about ruining childhoods here, and there's a few movies trilogies that some I would love to see be rebooted, and some I would cry.
Back to the Future, which category is that?
Back to the Future would be in the one. Please do not ever touch that series ever. That series to me is perfect. Don't touch it. If you want to do a side, like a tangent story of stuff that happened while...
They need to make it, though.
I want to know Marty McFly's kid.
So you want a soft reboot?
Yeah. I just want to know. I think it'd be interesting because the Doc would be old, and I feel like he would have given his title or like his life's work to Marty. I feel like he would have given it to Marty, and then Marty'd be like, in the film, he would just have, either a son or a daughter, and they would get interested in that stuff. And I think that would be cool.
I think a soft reboot, and the Doctor's daughter ends up, of course, being the Marty McFly, and then McFly's kid ends up being the genius, and they get together and
Oh, so kind of like putting like a little love story twist on it.
No, why does it have to be a love story?
Well, I think it'd be different because it's not a love story typically, or like it. I mean,
that's fine. It could be a love story.
But I think it'd be like a different twist that they could add in.
Don't force your romance on me, you son of...
Yeah, honestly, I would prefer it not to necessarily be a love interest, or at least not until the end, because it's more interesting as they travel through time, interacting with people over multiple generations.
I also think that in the same, I think Rich and I in the same vein, where if something happened that the Doc or Marty did in the past that caused something that we know happened in the future to happen, and they show a movie explaining that, that's the type of stuff that I like. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh, I stepped on a plant and that plant was supposed... My favorite example is Twin Palms. Twin Palms. If you guys remember, Back to the Future 1, the mall that they went to was Twin Palms. Mm-hmm. Twin Pines Mall. In the middle, I think it was in the same movie actually, in the middle of it, when Marty went back in time and ran into the tree, and then he came back from the future. It's called Lone Palm or Lone Pine.
It's so great.
So it went from Twin Pine to Lone Pine, and it was showing that stuff, even the littlest thing, could change.
Yeah, I think the thing is that I want to have discussions with people in their 20s that we can both appreciate the concepts of these movies, but when you have somebody like your girlfriend who doesn't have an appreciation for 80s lore, she isn't necessarily going to watch some of these movies, and she's going to be like, I don't even understand what the big deal is. And so it's just like when our friend Dorkside Fitness, when he dresses as Wolverine, and we go visit kids in the hospitals, and people don't know who he is because they haven't had a Wolverine character in movies.
Well, here's the thing: is they've had Wolverine characters.
Ignore Logan.
Well, in somewhat recent ones, but they haven't had him in his costume in years.
Yeah, it's just some dude in a wife beater.
Yeah, in years they haven't had him in his yellow and black costume, right?
Yeah, not since X-Men. Well, X-Men 1 and 2, he at least had an outfit.
Yeah, it wasn't the same outfit.
It wasn't the same.
It was an outfit.
Yeah.
It was the blue.
But
I have an
X-Men 1 and 2 was how many years ago?
Yep.
15 years ago? Maybe?
I do have a very an appreciation of a movie.
20? I don't know.
That people have talked about for years about a reboot. And the director himself said he would never touch it. And I'm glad because I hope he leaves it that way. And that is The Fifth Element. To me, The Fifth Element is perfect the way it is. I don't think it should be touched. Leave it alone.
How sad did that last movie make you?
Which one?
I don't know. What was it called? It was the same director, French director. Somebody's, it just came out end of 2017. It was, man, somebody help me. It's,
I'm Googling it right now.
Go into IMDb.
Yeah, he was, it was the boy and the girl, and it had Rihanna as the shape-shifting alien.
Oh.
Valerian.
Oh.
Yeah, so Valerian.
I didn't see it, but I heard it bombed.
Yeah, it was garbage. Valerian was supposed to be, here's another movie. If you loved Fifth Element, here is another movie from the same director with a similar art style. And it's going to be weird and crazy, and it's going to have music, and it's going to be cool. And it was all of those things except cool.
It was seriously, Luke Besson was the director. I just read that. Luke Besson handed us Fifth Element and goes, here's my movie. And the world went, this is an amazing movie. And then years later, he went, here's another movie that I've made that's kind of in the same vein. And we went, you're a dick. That movie was awful.
He's probably like, fine, I'm not going to give you any more.
He said himself that he would never touch The Fifth Element. And I would hate to see a reboot because I'm too attached to the characters. I don't think anybody can play the character that Bruce Willis plays other than Bruce Willis in that one. I don't want to see anybody do anything different.
So if we're talking about 80s and movies being rebooted, what about The Breakfast Club?
That's already planned.
Yeah.
Is it? You serious? Mm-hmm. This is already planned. Who?
That's why we have women on this cast.
I'm a little. The actors.
You didn't hear about Ferris Bueller's Kids Sick Day? No, but yeah, I do believe The Breakfast Club was planned. And I think that one can be successfully rebooted because of
depending on which actors.
Well, not even that. They can take the same concept of high school sex or
it's like
refresh, like a whole
nothing
new.
has been said about it since August 2017.
So it was mentioned in his falling off the radar. But I feel like that is something that can be done because it's like when the high school movie where your high school sucks and all that stuff, but you can still portray the same ideals in the modern world using
kind of like Jumanji.
Yeah,
but it has to be the modern world, right?
It has to be.
It can't.
I like Jumanji's sequel, like because of the fact it's doing what we're saying, taking a modern.
I like anything with Jillian in it.
I mean, he's not wrong. But yeah, no, you cannot say, please, if you do a Breakfast Club reboot, don't set it in the 80s again. Set it in our time.
I feel like I would want the writers to be in their early 20s and to have watched Breakfast Club a lot to try to take the concepts of Breakfast Club, but then to actually be something that makes sense, right? Because when you were from that time period and you watched Breakfast Club, you recognized all of the, what was going on. Mm-hmm.
And even had the nicknames, the jock, the nerd, you were like, oh, I was that guy.
And we all kind of, I don't know. I mean, I knew.
You can't. Can't do okay. So we had our viewers say we need a Golden Girls reboot. You can't do a Golden Girls reboot if one of the Golden Girls is still alive.
It's true.
She can play the same character.
That's true.
Okay, you got me there. You're right.
Betty White is just.
He's a vampire.
Well,
She is a vampire.
This is
She will
the
never die.
theory that she sucked all of the life energy out of the other 3 girls and now is living forever.
Well, she needs that reboot then. She needs more years.
She does. She needs more young
This
old ladies.
This is completely off the train here, but
She can have Miley Cyrus, Megan Fox, and one other person. I don't know.
take
You
them
know,
all.
she had originally auditioned herself for Sophia, I believe,
I think
because she was the oldest of them all.
I did see that one. Yeah.
But yeah, with Breakfast Club, right? Like, I think we all knew people with the same kind of broken parenthoods. At least when I was a kid, I knew some very broken people that were considered good parents, but were broken in the same way that the movie showed. And I think I see different types of broken parent now, like the helicopter parents and stuff like that. And that's what I would want to see in a new modern Breakfast Club.
You saying Breakfast Club actually brings me to another one, and
I didn't say it. I mean, it's somebody else.
Whoever said Breakfast Club is bringing me back to. So this is one of my favorite 80s movies, but this is helping me not prove my point, but explain what I was talking about. Short Circuit. Do you remember that movie?
It was awesome.
Johnny Five. Johnny Five
Alive.
Or Short Circuit could be rebooted in New Day and still use Johnny Five with modern technology and be a successful movie, I think. But that's because Johnny Five was not an actor. It is a thing. It is a robot. And so you can take Johnny Five and put him in our time and it'd still function, right?
Okay, well, if we're going to do Short Circuit,
He'd be
I want
flying.
Weird Science.
Weird Science could even work.
I don't
think Weird Science would crash so hard, because I think that concept is everything that is wrong with male-female dynamics.
I think Weird Science could do beautifully if they got their measurements and their ideal girl from Pornhub. It'd be hilarious.
Wait. What if we flopped it? What if we completely switched it? It's two females creating the perfect male specimen.
They'd never just settle. They'd never decide on what the perfect male is.
What you'd have is you'd have all the guys refusing to see it because they would feel like it was a cash grab, and you'd have a good portion of the women refusing to see it because they'd see it as a cash grab.
I mean Menace will pretty much
What if the
like not
perfect
want
guy
to go
they
to see
created was
any
Stephen
movie
Hawking?
that leads a female.
It would have to be so incredibly clever, and they would have to do the pitch of cleverness in the trailers so that suddenly we're like, wait a minute, this is a totally stupid idea, but I really want to see it.
The perfect man ends up being Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's got to be somebody you wouldn't expect. I think that's what would make it funny if you did do something like that. It would be like, oh
Michael
yeah,
Cera.
We good God.
Ossie's like, the perfect girl creation turns out Jeff Goldblum in the Sexy Post.
Yep.
Yes.
Isn't it going to be the guy from Jurassic World with his dad bod? Like,
I feel like
that's what he started as.
if we're talking
Chris
reboots,
Pratt.
I feel like
Chris
we could
Pratt,
do a
yeah.
successful crossover if we brought the Grandmaster to Jurassic Park.
Brilliant.
He'd be like, welcome to my park. This is where my animals fight. I don't know.
Probably do better too.
Jeff Goldblum, there's something about him as a person that just makes everybody like, he's so weird. And it's not
On Hot Ones, I watched the episode where they interviewed him, and I was like, I just wanted to be like, Jeff, what? Just what? Like, what literally were you talking about?
And I've seen most of the episode of Hot Ones, and using that example, he did an interview with Weird Al, and you were like, oh, this should be a good one. He's a Weird Al. No, Weird Al's a pretty normal guy. He does parodies on us. And then you see the one with Jeff Goldblum, you're like, oh, Jeff Goldblum's a really amazing guy. You're like, what the hell did I just watch? That's why Jeff Goldblum's amazing. He was the Fly. Come on, man. Yeah, I'm showing my age here. All right, so can trilogies be rebooted? There was a trilogy. I wouldn't say rebooted. I would say it was a
Specifically movie trilogy, right?
Spin-off, yeah. It was a spin-off. Well, actually, there was a couple. Star Wars wasn't a reboot, but it was a I guess a continuation.
Perfect example of a flop.
From the beginning, I guess. But Lord of the Rings. Would you consider the newest trilogy of Lord of the Rings?
Doing The Hobbit?
The Hobbit? Well, I feel like the Hobbit, it's kind of own story.
Yeah.
So, but
That's a cash grab.
Yeah, but
that's a problem.
But would you consider it a successful cash grab, or did you not like it?
I did actually enjoy the first Hobbit, and I even enjoyed the extra things that weren't in the novel. But I liked it progressively less until I didn't like it by the end of the second movie, and I didn't like it at all in the third movie.
Fair enough.
I barely remember it, to be honest.
So it's not. I'm not trying to use that to prove my point, but we've had a few trilogies that have either been spun off, rebooted, or a continuation, and they've not been very good.
But I really wonder, like, do you think that Disney is going to start fumbling? You know, Apple is or was the biggest company in the world. It's kind of swapping with Microsoft right now every couple of days. But Apple was the biggest, most successful, and then now they've really kind of been fumbling, right? And I see Disney, and you see like they've been flopping with Star Wars left and right. Their attempts to put in kind of forced diversification.
I feel like I know where you're headed with this one. I don't know if this is where you're going.
Has been kind of flopping. Like
the biggest flops that they've had was the live action retelling, like stuff like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. And
that's unnecessary to me. And the fact that they have planned Aladdin and then Mulan, it's like, really, these were great animated movies. Like, why do you have to turn them into live action? I just don't get it.
So my problem is I didn't hate Beauty and the Beast, but I also feel like I didn't hate it because I'm biased and I love Emma Watson, and I could watch anything with Emma Watson in it to begin with. But I liked it as a movie.
She's no Jillian.
But I didn't like it as a Beauty and the Beast movie.
Yeah.
And
I wanted Beast to be a lot more beasty.
I just feel like they hit the beats of the original cartoon so hard that I dislike them. I was bored, and I only got about halfway through Beauty and the Beast. I just felt like this thing is boring. And if they tell a different story, I would be interested and excited.
Yeah, see, I can agree with that too. Like, if you're just going to rehash out the same thing, then what's the point?
Wait, you don't mean Star Wars Episode 4 and Episode 7, do you?
Oh, yeah, you know. But we're going to complain when The Last Jedi comes out that this was way too different. It's nothing like the originals.
Force Awakens was too much like the old movies, and then The Last Jedi was too different.
Right, yeah.
Like, you can't do right by it then.
And these are the same people that bitched and moaned about George Lucas during the prequels, and now are bitching and moaning, we want him back.
Yep.
The people never know what they want.
Well, but they don't realize it, but they actually want his wife back. Because George Lucas's wife is actually the one who put together the movies we saw as Star Wars. And those movies, which were edited by George Lucas's wife, that's how it had the beats that it did, and that's why we enjoyed it. And then when he was bigger and more successful, he could do whatever he wanted. And that's how he got the flops, which were episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I don't think anybody really wants him back in the reins. We just want the continuation of episodes 4, 5, and 6 the way that they thought the continuation should be. But everybody's too old, so I don't know.
If I remember my trivia correctly, I think I remember him saying that when George Lucas wrote the original script for Star Wars, it wasn't even called Star Wars. It was something like a bunch of letters and a bunch of numbers that were just jumbled together. It didn't even have a thing. It was like THX 179. I was like, that was the name of the movie.
And then that became his first movie.
Yeah, and then
do you remember what George Lucas wanted to call what's his name from or Starkiller?
That was originally Luke Skywalker's name, was Starkiller.
Well, yeah, but before they gave it to the guy from The Force Unleashed, George Lucas.
Kylo?
What?
You mean Kylo?
No, Force Unleashed, the video game. His name is Starkiller in that game.
Oh.
Yeah,
or The Apprentice, whatever one you want.
Mm-hmm. Well, like before when they were releasing the game, I can't remember the exact name, but it was such an oddball name. Like it took like the character you're thinking of, who's this massive powerful killer who doesn't care about the dark side or the light side. He just wants to find peace for himself. And I want to look it up because it was such an odd name.
I am the most powerful Force user ever. I've brought down starships and planets, and my name is Bill.
Darth.
Huh? So we've got. I wanted to talk about the big three trilogies. So we have Back to the Future. I prefer they don't touch it, but I don't think I would hate.
If they did do it with Jurassic World, I would enjoy it. And I would enjoy being able to have those conversations with people today who I know that, James, you lie to people and tell them to watch these movies. And I don't tell them to watch it.
You should totally watch Animal World.
That might be true. And I'll give it a try. But I don't think you should tell anybody to watch something whose major appeal is nods to the time period it's in. Because they won't get it. They'll think it's boring and they'll be like, I just don't care why shoes look that way or like, right? Because a big part of it, right? They made all these nods towards things that were really popular then. Yep. And then like, what if we brought things that are modern back to the 1950s, except now it's like things that aren't modern and like they've never even seen or saw their dads wear or something, going back to an even old time when their like great grandparents were alive or something.
And it's funny because if we're talking about trilogies being rebooted, I prefer not to see Back to the Future's trilogy rebooted.
So Back to the Future's one.
But before we get off of that,
all right,
Back to the Future is sequels. 1, 2, and 3 is sequel.
Yeah.
And I feel like out of all of them, you can take all the major trilogies and rank their sequels. And I think Back to the Future 2 is the only.
Is that the cowboy one?
No, that's 3.
That's the future one.
Oh, I like the cowboy one.
My opinion is Back to the Future 2 is the only time the second movie or the second sequel has been equal to or better than the first.
What?
And not less than. I loved the second one. It was It was hilarious to me. And I actually don't care for as much the cowboy one, the third one. I prefer the second one. And I've seen like someone made a meme.
Don't you think Terminator 2 is better than Terminator 1?
Oh God, yes.
Don't you think Aliens is better than Alien? Really?
No, I think.
Man, I love Aliens, and I don't want to watch Alien ever again in my life.
It's actually funny. So, Terminator was on our 100 movie bucket list that Fabi and I are working through, and we both watched it, and we were like, "Yeah, we love the Terminator." And we watched the first Terminator, like, "Why the hell did we like this? This movie's awful." And then we watched Terminator 2. Oh, okay, that's why. Terminator 2 is actually good. That's why.
Terminator 2 is good.
So it's okay. So Terminator 2 is another one I can hand you. That sequel was better than the first, and I think that's a resounding opinion that it was better than the first. Back to the Future 2 might have some complete, but like so, Lord of the Rings, the second movie for that one. Do you think it's better than the first?
No, I like Lord of the Rings, the first one.
I prefer the third one only because it's my climax. It's the end of Lord of the Rings, but that's the only reason I like that because I like the story being complete. If we want to go to the complete opposite direction, The Matrix. There's the Matrix took a nosedive in public opinion. It took a nosedive in the sequels. I personally loved Matrix. The
dance scene,
Matrix Revolution. The entire third movie is actually my favorite of the three, and it's weird because a lot of people disagree with me, but I love the third one. But yeah, it's one where it seemed like every sequel it just went down. And then what was Star Wars? So is A New Hope better than? I'm so spacing right now. It's late. Leave me alone. Is A New Hope better than
Empire Strikes Back?
Empire Strikes Back, or is it the other way around?
I don't know. I really like Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi the best.
That's my favorite.
And that's again, it's weird because that is a complete story. When you saw the Return of the Jedi, your story is complete now, and I felt like the story was done. And then we went back, and I don't know what they were thinking with the first three. And then they went forward, and not that I hate it, but The Force Awakens, I feel like I just watch A New Hope all over again, but bigger.
Well, that's what I felt like when I watched Superman. It was like Superman Returns, which is that the beginning of the new Superman?
Yeah.
The director even said, he was like, when I was in directing school, I dreamed of making like movies, like reshooting this scene from Superman 1 and reshooting this scene from Superman 2. And I'm like, why did you hire this director? Like he's saying how he didn't want to make a new movie.
He wanted to take the best pieces and put them together.
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's not the director you hire.
I have it. This is why it was so.
Frankie has it 30 minutes later.
Yeah, I finally found that, and legit from different sources, he wanted to name him Darth Icky. Darth.
That is my son's name. I'm
Icky.
using that.
Wait,
Instead of Star Killer.
Everybody get back. It's Darth Icky.
But just nothing about that sounds terrifying to me.
We have from, I guess, the Peanut Gallery, Danny at the Peanut Gallery, the Lion King remake. Is that a yes or a no? Is that something that can be done successfully?
Well, I mean, it's still animated. It's
Yeah,
just CGI,
I was going to say, is it really like live action?
It's not live action. It's just more realistic than the cartoon.
Except not.
Except
if it was a different story, then I'm for it.
If we literally just had lions like running around roaring and like murdering antelopes and stuff, I'd be like, wow, this is a great live
Our
action.
kids going to be crying in the theater.
Well,
did we watch Blue Planet or did we watch Lion King?
A hyena's going to be like ripping out entrails and stuff. Like,
it's
Some
probably
dude's gonna be
still
like,
not
"This
as
movie's-"
bad as the Mufasa death scene, so it's okay.
yeah, like I think the adults are crying when Mufasa dies, but I think the kids are going to be screaming like they just watched a horror flick if they're watching like hyenas like crack bones and stuff.
That's true.
I mean, I would pay to see it though. That'd be awesome. You want to see how hyenas really do it? Let's show you.
Damn nature, you scary.
All right. So what other trilogies?
I would love to see the real Lion King, because in reality, hyenas are the predators and lions are the scavengers. So scavengers or lions actually often steal the food from hyenas after the hyenas kill the thing, because the hyenas do pack tactics, and so they're able to take down larger prey.
King of the jungle.
So yeah, it'd be great if it was like the hyena constantly getting bossed around by the bully lions, and then the hyenas like figure out how to, I don't know, win.
That's when a silverback gorilla
Hyena
comes
King.
out of nowhere.
I mean, no, what are you talking about? I was gonna say let's see the real Lion King, and let's see the rise of the warthog, and the warthog rules the planet after.
I think the warthog still gets beat by the silverback.
Yeah,
Warthogs use pack tactics, right?
no, they don't.
I'm just kidding.
No, if you want to be like totally realistic, then let's go with the Hippo King.
Yeah,
Like-
those things kill.
Those kill more people than anybody else in Africa. So
What was Timon? He was
Damn
a prairie
cow.
dog. He was a meerkat.
he was not sized appropriately, is what he was.
Yeah,
Rise of
we
meerkats.
already have a live action documentary of meerkats. So I don't think we need.
Do
that
you
one.
call? I don't think you call it live action.
Pretty sure that's reality.
It's, it's just
It's not live action. It's
that's why I
life.
quickly changed it to documentary, because it's just. I mean, that's
like Frankie's like wandering around and he's like, yeah, like here's like I'm recording this live action of my life. I'm like, wait, what?
coming to you guys 2020. Frankie 2020. It's going to be a
Frankie
live
live
action. It's going to be a live
like-
action film of me.
Frankie's just walking around with his smartphone, like recording stuff, and he's like, "This is live
You guys,
action."
who wants to see this in chat? I know you guys are down.
Yeah. Now the chat went dead. Thanks, Frankie. So.
All right, I'll hear back from Spotify.
What other trilogies do you think shouldn't be touched or could be touched?
So I wish they would pretend that they didn't reboot Ghostbusters and actually reboot it, but with a soft reboot where they act like the original Ghostbusters still happened. It can still be all female. I don't even care. I enjoyed the characters in Ghostbusters. I just wish that they hadn't did a full reboot and instead had done a soft reboot. Like, hey, there haven't been any ghosts in 20 years, and now things are happening again.
So I didn't see the new Ghostbusters, but are you telling me that the girls in Ghostbusters didn't go, hey, if they did it, we can do it too? It was just
It was a full reboot.
Oh God.
Ooh, you know what trilogy we didn't talk about that could use a reboot that I think that would be really cool? Never Ending Story.
They are doing a reboot.
They are? Dope, man. I'm excited. I want to see more Dog Dragon.
If it doesn't make me cry, then I'm going to consider it a flop.
True. I agree.
No,
I don't think
it's been a while since I've seen Neverending Story, but Artax doesn't die, right? He gets pulled out of the mud. So okay, kill Artax and just leave him dead now.
Whoa.
That horse doesn't die. Like, and he's got to die with a sense of futile, like, desperation.
Not even Artax. What's the dragon's name?
Let him die
Falcor.
too.
Yeah, no. Falcor dies trying to save Artax, who also dies. Let's just kill everybody.
But that will go against movie logic, which no dog should die, and he's like a dog dragon.
But they all die. And then they get brought back.
Yeah.
But dog dragon.
Don't you know all dogs go to heaven?
Another movie, never ending. All dogs go to heaven.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if they did a live action of that? That would just be woo. That would make a lot of. You can't kill dogs. Let's just kill them all.
let's kill them all and make it to where everybody wants to go to heaven, because it's going to be pretty blasted there if there's a bunch of dogs.
What about E.T.? Like an E.T. reboot?
E.T., did anybody read the second book?
No.
There's a book.
Yes.
I prefer the Atari.
Just
game.
as there's many stories, just as everybody believes that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the only story, no, there's actually like 5 more books.
The glass elevator was the next story.
Have you ever read the book?
No.
It's like an acid trip in words.
That's true.
When that was, I know it was popular for a while, but in my youth, it grew in popularity again a little bit. But at that time, I was reading a book called The Chocolate Touch, which was the Midas touch, but with chocolate. And I'm blaming that for my sweet tooth. Like, he touched everything and turned to chocolate and ate it, and then he was like got fat. And then he touched his mom, and she turned to chocolate, and he got real sad. And then, of course,
That goes weird places.
Yeah, it does.
I think it was a kid's book.
So we didn't answer E.T. though.
Oh, it's
Okay, yeah, let's go back to that.
Yes, no?
E.T.
See, every time I think about an E.T. reboot, I think of Robot Chicken. When they were making fun of E.T., like, oh, he only has one finger that glows. It's the 5 finger. He's the retarded alien. Like,
I feel like there's an innocence back then where people, I don't know, innocent, I really think ignorance. I feel like people in general were ignorant, and that now if people, even young kids, were exposed to aliens, the interactions would be totally different.
Yeah.
I agree.
It'd be like that episode of American Dad.
so this is actually a confirmed reboot. I think it's a complete reboot. Alf is actually coming back.
Protect your cats.
I see no chance in hell of that actually working out as a TV show that gets more than one season.
Alf was already when back then, and now you said this, and
I feel like they're going to try and do something where he's not a puppet. That was the best part of Alf.
But that's what I was going to say about E.T. is, like, I feel like E.T. would be great if it was rebooted right now, because the amount of technology we have to give E.T. so much personality, or like to actually, he could still be shy, but like his movements and everything would just be much more realistic. Able to be himself, to really explain what's going on.
I feel like if they did Alf in that same vein, it wouldn't work. I feel Alf works better as a puppet.
So I think that you're looking at it through your memories of Alf as a kid. Yep. And the reason why Alf was successful was because he was commentary on our society from an outsider. Mm-hmm. This stuff is so weird from an outsider's perspective. And as a young kid, you're just like, that is the coolest puppet ever. And I don't think it would hold you.
Our Alf reboot would just be him shitting on Donald Trump the entire time. and why Russia got involved, or I don't know. It would just be a bunch of
it. If it was clever, it would be Alf asking questions of about Trump in a way that didn't attack Trump's followers, right? Because that's why these people are going to vote for Trump in 2020, because basically the rest of the world attack them. And the more you attack them and say, aren't you so stupid? Look at all these 5-star generals. All the 5-star generals hate Trump. All the CIA directors hate Trump. All the FBI people hate Trump. So are you saying that you're against the military? Are you saying that you're against the intelligence agencies? Are you saying you're against all these things that you used to like? You used to like the military.
Yeah.
And then, but there's all these military people who like Trump, and they're like, they intentionally don't hear the words of the 5-star generals because they're in defense mode, because everybody else keeps attacking them. So I think there would be a beauty of an Alf character who just asks questions. Because if you ask questions without attacking, then in their head, they'll answer them.
I feel like a perfect joke brewing right now is Alf getting mad at his living situation and him saying, you know what, we're going to split the house in two. You stay on your side and I stay on my side. You know what, just to make sure, I'm going to build a wall so you can't come over. It'd just be a perfect attack on. But is that going overboard, or
is Alf part of like Muppets?
He's not a Jim Henson character, I don't believe.
He's not a Jim Henson character, but he was technically a Muppet.
Yeah, I mean,
because I was curious, because like I sort of remember Alf and Gonzo interacting with one another on a show.
Maybe that was the Muppet Show.
Lay off the drugs.
Maybe
the crossovers happen.
Too many lucid dreams, guys.
DC versus the Muppets. I don't know how we got here.
Like, I read Alf comic books. I read Alf. I watched the Alf cartoon. There was lots of Alf stuff, so it's possible that there was a crossover.
And for those of you who do not know,
is there?
And we're showing our age, Alf actually stands for alien life form. It was an alien that was living with a family the whole time, who loved cats, and not loved cats like he wanted to pet them. He
really loved them,
and not in the 2018 way where he really loved them. He was just hungry.
Yeah, they were a delicacy.
Any other trilogies?
Oh, I did have another one before the Never-Ending Story. I don't know how popular it would be with a lot of people, but Narnia, The Chronicles of Narnia.
So, I'll be honest. I really dislike Narnia.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's hit or miss with a lot of people, to be honest.
It's too religious, and I just feel like
I do feel like that's.
Well, I mean,
I get what a lot of people argue with it.
Yeah,
with it.
I would just prefer my fiction to be all fiction. I dislike any of the kind of like meta stuff where Tolkien stories suddenly it's like, well, the elves actually are a metaphor for angels and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? Can we just keep our mythology separate from our fiction?
The elves are metaphors for elves, all right? Leave them alone.
Yeah, just let elves be elves. Because I think it tramples on people's legitimate real beliefs to suddenly take all these other fiction stories and start like saying like, oh, but no, it's the same stuff. And it's like,
so your guy in the sky technically isn't a guy in the sky. He's this weird lion that doesn't talk to you, but does, but it's telepathy. And then he dies. But then he still talks to you.
It's aliens.
So it's not movies, but on a similar note, video game trilogy. I mean, this is kind of going long, but it's fine. What do you think about the Tomb Raider reboot?
I actually really like them.
I love them.
It's very different, and it's kind of interesting because there's like 3 incarnations of Lara Croft now. So they have the original like 90s games, and then
the boxy one,
triangle boobs.
Yes, triangle boobs. And then they rebooted it and made 3 games, didn't do so well, and then Square Enix took over and then they decided to start over again.
Was it Square Enix or was it Enix or Square?
No, it was Square Enix.
Oh, it was?
Square
Okay.
Enix, yeah.
It was after the.
I know that there was other games in between the Triangle Boobs and Square Enix version, but I remember I can remember a path where I was playing the game and I'm like, I can't do this jump, like I can't make this maneuver, and then in the newest series I was like, she just got impaled by a spike. Holy shit, this game just got brutal.
It's way more graphic.
And that's what surprised me about it. You're like, oh, Tomb Raider. And that's why I liked it so much. Because it felt like they were like, no, Tomb Raider she's not a masculine, but she's not a wuss. And they're not trying to make her seem like she's a princess that just trying to make jumps and stuff. She was beaten, she was brutalized, and she
overcomes.
Back. Yeah, she fought back, and she beat the shit out of those guys. It was amazing.
And that's I never really played the original Tomb Raider games. I not attracted to pyramids, and
he doesn't like Silent Hill either.
Triangle boobs don't do it for you.
And then at some point I just felt like I missed out. But when they rebooted it, I felt like there was an opening. Like I could get into Tomb Raider and not have to worry about the history. And I feel like Silent Hill and some of the other games, like I feel like they have so many iterations that I can't really get into them because I don't want to play in the middle of a story.
Well, see, with Silent Hill, though, like each individual game is its own story. Like there isn't necessarily a overarching plot. Like each game is its own thing.
They just found a lot of
and
Silent
I didn't even
Hills.
know that, to be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to play them, play them.
Well, Rise of Tomb Raider was the one where her well, spoiler alert, her father dies, right?
Oh my god, you son of a bitch.
Well,
No, I'm just kidding. I knew that.
Well, in the first one, like he's already dead. It just reveals like what happened to him, why he's dead.
Yeah, because like I really liked playing through that one because the little bit when she's talking to herself, like she's just so worried. It really gave depth to Laura, like why she became this silent, like dead face.
Yeah.
Nothing phases me.
Yeah.
And it's because early on
Bad shit happened to her.
Crazy stuff happened. You're like, this explains why she cares really about no one.
Yep.
So, and here, I would like to try and tie, not just because you are here specifically, but to try and tie Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider together, but it's a little different for me. So, Indiana Jones, the first 3 movies, I would argue that they succeeded because the artifacts or the items they're looking for were religious items, extremely religious. We have the Holy Grail, the Lost Ark, and then the 4th one comes along and it's aliens, and makes no sense. And then in Tomb Raider, the beginning before it was rebooted, she was looking for artifacts, and they were mythological artifacts. And then in the reboot, is kind of about that, but it seemed like that was a sub story. Like it was just about her survival and trying not to die in the forest. And it was both of those reasons are the reason I liked that Indiana Jones was religiously mythological, and the aliens messed it up for me. And then I liked that the reboot of Lara Croft Tomb Raider became less religious, but still had some mystical aspects at the end. But it was more just like, don't die in the jungle.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the big difference between the older Tomb Raider games and these new ones is that they kind of changed the formatting of the gameplay overall. Like they made it more of a action combat oriented type situation versus being puzzle oriented. And with all fandoms, you have people that are like, no, bring us back the tombs. It's called Tomb Raider for a reason. So
I have another question on Tomb Raider. How do you feel about the rumors floating around or fan-based theories of Uncharted and Tomb Raider becoming like a thing?
It's always Halloween here.
you mean like a crossover? Or?
Yeah, well, because both of them are like Sony or Sony companies.
I think it'd be interesting. Actually, it would be kind of cool to have like a Smash Brothers type situation, maybe, where it's like.
Which is funny because Nathan was actually in the All-Stars, and Tomb Raider was not, though. I don't believe Laura was in All-Stars.
Game pitched idea. Every single one of our favorite trilogies now comes together and they fight against each other.
Yes.
The Jedi fight the Hobbits, fight the Matrix.
There's actually a YouTube video that is just that. Somebody made an animated video on YouTube. That's all of the heroes. And it's like the Grandmaster type situation from Thor Ragnarok, where this alien being brought all of the heroes together to fight it out for who's the best hero.
It's like an actual series, or is it spoof parody?
It's just a spoof parody video that someone made.
I've seen that.
It was
one.
like Jump Force.
So Candace has from Twitch is saying, "What are your thoughts on the new Halloween movie?"
I did not go see it.
Did anyone see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't see it.
But I heard it was really
failures
good.
at Halloween.
Okay.
The Peanut Gallery
so
thing is terrible.
Can we?
Our Danny's on chat, and so she's saying
It was terrible.
she's sick, so she doesn't have much voice, but maybe
She's gonna
Brad
sneeze.
can
It was awful right now.
point the microphone a little bit towards her.
Oh, here.
So it was super cheesy, like more cheesy than most of the other movies. I personally was not a fan of it. However, I know a lot of other people liked it, but I myself was not a fan.
Did they do what they do in the older movies, where they just, oh, he's dead. Let me lay his weapon directly next to him because he's dead and he won't get up.
I really don't want to add any spoilers to it for people that might see it.
But is it meant to be like a little bit of a joke? Like, is it? No, it's still totally serious, like the old Halloweens.
So what I heard is that it basically erases all of the other Halloweens except for the first one, because the second Halloween, it's revealed that Laurie and Michael are brother and sister, but this one eliminates that.
Yeah, sort of. She has moved on to a new question.
Did we kill you by having you eat ants and scorpions?
I might have added to it, but I do have a cold.
Okay.
But it's gotten progressively worse.
I keep forgetting that. One of my best friends is like the horror movie buff, and she's seen just about every horror movie that I can imagine. And I didn't know why I didn't think to ask her about horror movies.
Yeah. So, is anyone here an Xbox player?
No.
I mean, I'm an Xbox player,
I am sorry.
but I mean,
I used to.
I'm neither.
I was Sony
honestly,
fanboy.
I'm neither.
I was Sony fanboy for life, and then I finally built my computer, and now I'm back to where I started, PC Master Race.
Yeah, PC Master Race. The games we stream are almost, I don't know, about 60% PlayStation 4 games that we stream, but the rest of the games are PC games. We don't, but
I just find it easier, specifically with streaming, to do PC because since everything's right then and there on the system. I mean, yes, the PS4 and the Xbox One both can stream and do it pretty decently, but not on the level that we're doing it.
yeah, but actually, because I'm the one who sets everything up, I actually prefer streaming the PlayStation over people streaming the games.
Because it's just all in one.
No, because it's I can put somebody on the keyboard and have them managing the chat and everything when I'm just streaming a window from the PlayStation. Whereas when it's a PC game, they can't type without messing up the game player.
That's true.
It's just frustrating.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, I could.
The one solution I had to that, but it's still so okay. It's a kind of a solution, but not, because I play a lot of PC games now because that's my preferable system. And if I had two monitors, I only have one right now, but if I had two monitors, I could have my Twitch chat on one and my game on another.
Sure.
And I could read the chat. But if I'm playing Heroes of the Storm, I can't really concentrate in the chat and play the game at the same time effectively. You'll just see me die a lot. Flip side, I play games like Slay the Spire and other turn-based games where I could take my turn, look at my chat, answer all the questions, type back, then go back to my game and play.
Why are you typing back instead of just talking back?
I mean, sometimes, rarely, but
Try to
sometimes
face the mic more.
some viewers like to have the actual, he said my name in chat. Like it's a good feeling.
So my thing is, here at Dorkside, we almost always have somebody managing the keyboard. So it doesn't matter what game you're playing, somebody else is going to be managing the chat anyways, which is allows the player to focus on playing a good game or being an entertaining game or, whatever. So it's just, I have to have a separate computer to allow that to happen when it's PC game, which Kayla always does PC gaming, and that's fine. But then I have to give her a separate computer. And even here, we have a separate computer for Danny over the computer that's actually streaming. So I guess it's not much different. But yeah.
What games are you all looking forward to for
so
Jog20?
Jog22 from Twitch is asking what games we're looking forward to.
So this is actually a good question for not to try and like force people, but we actually answered this question in our previous podcast, but I would be glad to answer it again. Obviously, Frankie and I 100% certain the game coming out in
You're only allowed to choose one.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's the one game.
That's the one game.
Okay, Bri, before I see mine, what is yours?
I don't even know what's coming out this year.
Besides Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yeah.
Who needs anything?
Doesn't matter. It's Kingdom Hearts 2. No. Jump Force is also coming out this month.
Well, all right. Well, okay. Like Kingdom Hearts, yes, I'm looking forward to, but I'll put down the controller for Kingdom Hearts 3 to play a little Jump. I can get down on a little Jump.
Anthem is coming out. We'll see how that one is.
Yeah, I'm still sketchy about it.
Oh my god, the zombie. Oh my god.
I'm just looking forward to Death Stranded. That's the game that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
It's either going to be a complete flop or it's going to be the most iconic game of 2019.
Once we figure out what's actually happening.
Baby, space, dark matter.
It's like, is this M. Night Shyamalan like Sixth Element? Or is Sixth Sense?
You just uncovered the secret. Kojima is working with
Shyamalan and Kojima are working together. We're going to bring them the most twisted story they've ever heard.
No, there's a couple of games that I'm super excited for. Kingdom Hearts 3 is the one. I want to say Final Fantasy 7, but who even knows what's going on with that game anymore?
It's never gonna happen.
At first, it was never going to happen. They said never. And then they got Kingdom Hearts 3 done, and they said, okay, maybe we'll work on it. And then they said, we're going to release it in episodes, and everybody shit themselves because that is an awful idea.
Yeah.
And that was the last thing anybody heard.
Yeah, basically, when they announced that episode thing, they stated somebody stated that they said, if you want more info, wait for E3.
Here's the problem with that, though. For the last 3 years, have not live streamed, but live tweeted, live Facebook, whatever you want to call it, every single announcement from E3 from every single developer. Mm-hmm. Sony is not going to be at E3 this year. Mm-mm. They are absent. They are taking a break because they have their own convention.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean
what? Why? E3 is the biggest convention.
Why are they not going to be there?
Yeah. I mean, I know the answer to that question, but I don't.
Money.
Sony doesn't need to be there, but who's the Square
Enix?
Yeah. They literally can still show up themselves. They don't have to show up as Sony.
But so if Sony's not there and Square Enix is there, they're going to
Ubisoft does it all the time.
Our game is coming out on Xbox, and screw PS4.
But Square Enix isn't a PS4 only.
Not anymore. It used to be, but
hasn't been
so
for a
they
long
don't
time.
care about Sony.
I know they don't care, but now Sony fans are getting screwed because I think of this move and Square Enix being one of the biggest companies that.
Well, James, you watched last year. Can you really blame Sony? They kind of bombed last year's E3.
They didn't do so bad.
It's really dumb to make your guest go from one theater to the next theater to the next theater.
Okay, the actual convention space was stupid, but the games
Frankie works conventions, right? He works at every convention he can so he can get free tickets.
Yeah.
And so to him, he is just offended at the idea that they ran this convention so poorly.
But so on that note, though, there was a game announced in that special way with the what was he at? What he was playing an instrument. I don't even know what it was. But they were announcing. What's the name of that game? That's the game I wanted as well.
The samurai one.
Yeah.
I forget, but it was a similar thing. Like
Dark Soul Samurai. That's what I'm calling it.
Dark Souls.
That's what it was.
I feel they really wanted to emphasize on making like different kind of entertainment for the game to like emphasize that it's going to be very.
I feel like Sony had good games to come out and talk about, but Sony was too interested.
Took too
in
long
saying,
with the entertainment before the show.
They were too interested with trying to make people say, "Did you see what Sony did?" That they left out the most important part, which was show us the damn games. What are you doing?
Yeah, dude. After like the first walk, I would have walked out. I would have been like, dude, I'm just gonna go to the booth.
You want me to give you a glimpse of the future?
No, because we're circling back, and now that Sony has their own conference, I feel like that one's going to be even worse.
The breakaway hit of 2019 that nobody expects. It's going to make the most money, and you're going to have like clones of it in 2020 to try to take away some measure of this success. Goose Simulator.
I love Goose Simulator. I'd beat the hell out of that game.
The one that just got
Goose Simulator. I like.
If it's anything
I'm
like
sorry.
Goat
I'm thinking
Simulator.
World of Goo. There is another game called World of Goo. That's completely.
that is entirely something different.
I'm sorry. That's a different. Game.
I don't.
Have
know.
you guys all seen it?
No.
Yes,
I can't,
it looked hilarious.
It looks hilarious.
I haven't. So I can't say.
You play Goose.
See, I've played Goat Simulator.
I thought you said
so.
goo.
No, Goose.
Goose. You're talking about the angry goose
Angry
that goes
goose.
around and he like
Cracks at
steals
people.
stuff.
And he steals stuff, and you make stuff.
Dude, I want to play that. I just
No,
want to.
I remember.
I don't know what it's called.
I remember there's actually another one because I remember specifically messaging Danny as soon as it was announced. There's also a shark simulator coming out.
Yes.
Where you eat people. That's the goal. Is
Yes.
your jaws basically.
I don't think that will be as successful. It doesn't sound funny.
It had the prettiest trailer because it just shows you like a nice little beach, and then all of a sudden you like see from the point of the view of a shark, and you're eating people.
But I thought science proved that sharks don't really.
In
eat
video
humans.
games, they do.
Who cares about science? It's a video game.
But
I totally would play Shark Simulator for a few
I guess the
minutes
same
and
thing.
say,
People
ha
could
ha
say
ha, cool.
gooses aren't
And then
angry,
stop.
but
And
They were
as
too
John
busy.
From Twitch says there was a goat simulator.
Yeah, there totally was a-
I love that game.
Goat Simulator was great.
There's like 5 goat simulators now. Like
Yeah, it's so good.
They were too busy wondering if they could realize.
nothing will compete with Goose,
should.
Angry
well,
Goose.
if we're talking about like like crazy simulator games or whatever, what about Postal?
You mean Paperboy? What are we talking about here?
Postal was like a game where you played a postal worker,
A postman?
postman. Yeah, there we go. Can speak. I got this.
He's not
So
even drunk, guys.
I personally, I don't think that those games make much money.
No, I don't really think that they're meant to make money. It's more for.
But I'm talking about games that make tons of money.
There's been
Fortnite.
So Fortnite, exactly. Fortnite, you can look at
League of Legends.
Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird.
Flappy made a ton of money.
Made a
very quick.
ton of money, right? It's just like these simple, different. It has to be different.
Pokemon.
If we're going on that one, there's a game I still
want to know
love.
how much money they make.
There's a game I still love that came out a couple of years ago, Kerbal Space Program. That game is super fun, and I've never seen another game like it. It's its own thing.
But was it too complicated?
It can,
In a way.
it can get complicated.
Is that why
It did
nobody
not-
like really?
It did not start off complicated. It could get complicated.
See, because there's like,
Or
there's,
I Am Toast.
No, it's I Am Bread.
Or I Am Bread. Yeah,
Yeah.
I Am
I
Bread.
Have you seen that one?
I've not.
You play as a piece of bread trying to
Not
How many
following.
buttons?
It's one. It's like it plays like
Oh, like
Shoulder
surging
buttons.
like Surgeon Simulator or Octodad.
or crab
Yeah,
fighting.
It plays like those ones. You're trying to use really janky controls to wiggle your toast into the toaster, which is like up on a table or near a window. Or something.
That's just another game in the same category, though, and that's legitimate. I think that those games are an interesting thing. I don't know how many. I mean, maybe some people play it forever.
I mean, I feel like there's been a bunch of indie games that I would love to see more of, or even from the same company. I like Fez or Limbo or all these games that were They were super good, but they were also extremely short.
You thought I said World of Goo, and I would love to see more World of Goo.
World of Goo was fun.
It was so great. I like, honestly, any of the physics games are fun. I'd like to see more fun games in VR. I have an HTC Vive. I just got the wireless simulator, so I'll be playing a lot more VR in general. But looking at it, I just feel like there isn't that many more games than like a year and a half ago when I kind of stopped playing.
Yeah. They've kind of plateaued at the same. Like, if you asked what was the coolest game you heard about last year in VR, I personally believe a lot of people would say Beat Saber.
I would too.
And if you ask people what's the coolest game you've heard about in VR, I still think it's Beat Saber.
Beat Saber, yeah.
Rhythm games always seem to do pretty well.
Do we want to wrap it up? This is a super, super long podcast.
I think we do, but I got to ask the last question.
Okay, last question.
A quick one. Let's do it. Final thought, because I feel like this has got to be something we can ask every week until we get the full list. Who do you think's coming for Smash? Who do you think's coming for Smash, Frankie? Do you think it's Sora?
How many more characters are there going to be?
I don't. I really.
So they've announced that they're doing 5 DLC packs, and we went over this last time. Each DLC pack is going to have a map, a skin, and a character.
God.
So there's 5 more characters.
What?
5 more characters. One announced was Joker.
You might have something.
Like Black Man's Joker? No. Jack, you mean
Joker from Persona 5.
Yeah, Persona 5.
Because they said we're not going to get any news until in February. February's Treehouse. And that'll be the month after Kingdom Hearts releases.
Yeah.
Which means that could lead into the announcement.
I'm changing my answer right now. I'm calling it. It's not Sora. It's fucking Donald.
PG-13. You only had one.
Oh,
Donald? I think Goofy has more of a combative skill trait than Donald.
Yeah, he does. That's the point. Donald won't heal.
Well, Smash.
Any mushrooms or anything he can pick up to heal himself won't work.
Smash is becoming like a tournament based game where it's got rules and setups and where they're nerfing characters and making them balanced. I don't think Donald being stupid that he won't do anything, they'll put him in.
I was making a joke.
Doesn't he have a gun?
No.
Yes, Kingdom Hearts 3, it's been announced. He no longer has a wand. He has a Desert Eagle.
He's tired of the what is it, chipmunk's shit.
Did you see that fake poster or whatever?
Get on the gummy ship and let's go, damn it. No, honestly, every time I keep thinking of a new character they can come out with, they have. I was like, who'd be cool? Simon Belmont. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, who else could we do? I mean, and them pulling Joker out of their ass.
People were saying that's the samurai from Nintendo. I forget his name, but I don't think it's Musashi. But they were saying there was an old retro samurai character for Nintendo.
Ninja Gaiden.
Not Ninja Gaiden.
That was a ninja game with really bad physics.
Did I say ninja or did I say samurai?
I mean, you said samurai, but that was in the same vein.
I'd really like to see them do a little bit like a Marvel Sony deal where they make a partnership with Sega and bring us Sonic.
Sonic's already in the game.
Oh, Sonic is in it? I haven't played it.
I was waiting. I was sitting here and I was like,
Sonic is in the game. So here's
Sega. All right, where are we going?
You're familiar with.
I don't have a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, you're familiar with a lot of the Nintendo characters. Let me give you a brief rundown of the characters that aren't Nintendo that are in the game.
Okay, that aren't Nintendo that are in the game.
Sonic is in there.
Okay, so
we just got a Joker announced.
Snake.
Who makes that game? I can never remember.
Persona 5 is
Atlas.
Atlas, yeah.
Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid is in the game,
which is weird because they don't even make Metal Gear anymore.
Kojima doesn't. They're still trying to make Metal Gear games, but they're failing miserably.
They closed their game studio. They reopened it.
No, Kojima,
because they said it was more. They said that it was more profitable to make casino games.
Mega Man.
Oh yeah,
that's why they stopped.
No, Mega Man isn't. It was not a. No, Mega Man is a Nintendo game.
Capcom.
You're right. I'm sorry, Capcom. You're right. Capcom. You're right.
Same thing with Street Fighter.
The Witch.
Bayonetta. She's technically a Nintendo character now, though, because after 1, it was officially announced that all of her games would now be only released on Switch or Nintendo, because they they bought the licensing out for Platinum.
Well, and I feel like Switch can do it. It was a very
I definitely
hardware specific type game.
Did you play Bayonetta 2?
Yeah, I played both.
Yeah, it was great.
Who else? Who else we got?
You already said Simon Belmont.
Simon Belmont. Yep. Well, yeah.
Who's Castlevania by? Is that Capcom as well?
No, Simon Belmont's from Castlevania.
Yeah,
He's the main character.
Castlevania.
I know I said that. I mean, is Castlevania?
No, I believe it is Capcom. I think it is.
I feel like most of the greats.
I'm not sure.
At that time period were all Capcom.
I'm thinking of like the opening to Castlevania and seeing the Capcom logo flash in front of it. I think that's what it was. Either that or Konami, maybe. I don't know. Is there anybody else?
Is there Monster Hunter yet?
No, there's not. There is rumor.
No.
So
You are false.
Big guy.
You are false. Monster Hunter is in the game as a trophy.
No, not just as a trophy. Or is it's the basilisk? Basilisk?
He's a trophy. I think the one you're thinking of is Ridley.
I thought it was a stage. I thought like they have a Monster Hunter stage.
No, you can grab a trophy and the Monster Hunter dragon comes down and screws everybody up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right. Never mind. I saw because there's apparently Isabelle. She has this ability where if she uses a trophy or a Pokeball, she can just copy it.
No. That is not an ability.
It's not an ability?
What happens is there's two Isabelles in the game and they both do it at the same time and the game glitches and accidentally creates infinite clones of whatever item was thrown.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
Really funny when you throw a trophy.
The screen with the dragon, that dragon thing, like I thought the Pokemon would get wild. No, the dragon literally just freezes the game.
No. It gets funnier when you have Waluigi's jumping out of the...
Oh, I saw that one too. Yeah, that was good.
But I think those are... Of all the ones I can think of, I think those are the only non-Nintendo ones. But that being said, they have made partnerships with Sega, Capcom.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let me
Konami.
just look up the roster list.
Holy crap.
That would be a good one.
Danny just said Spyro. Spyro would be an amazing poll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, before Spyro, I would think they would put Crash in before Spyro.
Oh yeah, Crash Bandicoot would be a good
because
one.
I feel
that I think so they could, but I think they'd have to pay because I know they're paying out the butt for Sonic. I don't know if they want to pay more money to get another license for Crash.
I bet they're not paying as much as you think because
because Sonic's
because
kind of a dead game, but not
exactly. So I think that Sega would want
keep our game alive.
Keep our game alive.
Cloud
makes more out of it. Oh yeah, you're right. Cloud is a playable character.
Pac-Man.
He already was though, right? Wasn't Cloud?
Yeah, he was in the last one, but he's now too. Pac-Man is a Nintendo.
Pac-Man's a playable character.
That's fun.
He's really interesting.
I'm tempted to get a Switch just for one game, but
there's several.
I mean,
games on the Switch.
Smash literally makes almost any of the Nintendo consoles worth buying. Like I literally, when I heard Brawl was being announced, I was like, now I'm buying Wii.
yeah.
I bought a Wii for Smash. I did.
Yeah, we basically covered a lot of the
So
non-character Nintendo characters.
So the final question to wrap up: who do you guys think? Who's coming? We have 4 characters left. One was announced. It's Joker for Persona 5. And keep this in mind if you're listening to this months from now. We still have no news, no rumors even about the next 4 characters. We are totally spitballing.
I think Kingdom Hearts in probably a villain personally in February.
This list has other characters that these people thought were going to be in the game, and one of the characters on here I thought
you don't really want other people's ideas though, so just choose your one, just your one.
Who would you want?
You can use one of theirs as your one, but that's fine.
I still think
this is our podcast, not somebody else's.
I still think the Springman or Ribbon Girl from ARMS is still potentially there.
Yeah, no, I see it.
Still see that a potential that for them to put in because it's still an oddball character.
They did the Inklings. Why not do ARMS? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that's kind of a different thing, but the Inklings were a newer.
I mean,
game.
literally, it'd be great to like. We already had Incineroar like challenge Mac, but what if we had a trailer that just had Ribbon Girl or Spring Boy challenge Mac to a boxing match?
So I'm going to call it right now. My 2 that I would want to see, but I honestly think would never happen. The 2 biggest games that have ever come out for the Super Nintendo, in my opinion, again, all of my opinion, if they did any of the characters from Chrono Trigger, which could be Chrono himself, or if they did any of the characters from Dragon Quest, which would also be this are two biggest RPGs I had from the classic system. Seeing any one of those two games come out with a character, I would sell my car.
Before you get your Chrono Trigger or your Dragon Quest, I want my Golden Sun.
If we're talking about who we want and not who we think.
Oh, if I want, for sure. If you, hands down. I mean, yes, I think Spring Man or Ribbon Girl would be great.
I think it's also feasible. I don't think mine's feasible. It's just when I want it.
But
I want Captain N.
Mine has been like taught, like Isaac has literally popped up in so many forms by fans and has been talked about by the Smash staff themselves.
Isaac, what?
Isaac from Golden Sun.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't think that they're going to put Golden Sun Isaac in. A, because he's a trophy, but two, B, because I really think if they're going to put any Golden Sun character, it's going to be Isaac's son.
But my mind, for some reason, I didn't put two together. When you said it, I was thinking Golden Axe, which is a completely different game. It would be cool to see a character with, raise the axe and chase somebody
and get a mount and run around on a dinosaur.
So, Rich, you said Captain N.
Captain N.
Yep.
With the laser gun, like.
Yeah, no.
From the cartoon?
It's funny because I remember who you're talking about. But now that you said that, another weird one that spawned kind of like that was Rob. And I think, is Rob still in the game, Frankie? I don't know if I think they took him out.
He is.
Oh, he is?
Mm-hmm. He's still there. I mean, literally when they said every character that's ever been in the game is back. I believe his name is Matthew, his son.
Well, I don't think it's ever going to happen, but
this is a wish list.
My wish list would be for Lara Croft to be in it. So we'll see. Predictable.
Well, I mean, she did start on Nintendo, right?
No.
Sony,
but
I thought
she's owned by Square Enix now, so
it is possible.
I just imagine that in February they announced Lara Croft as the playable character, and Brand was like, "Damn it, I made the wrong wish." Like if I was going to get some random wish, then I wish I could have wished a bunch of other things.
Now I gotta go
on Lara.
Buy a Switch.
Yeah. Oops. So Danny said, and this is for the people listening to the podcast, Danny on keyboard threw out Spyro.
I'd like that one too.
Spyro would be amazing.
So we have Spyro, Lara Croft, Matthew from Golden Sun,
Captain N,
and I can't remember what you said.
He said like 3 different.
Yeah, I did. But okay, so I'm pulling this one from memory, and actually, I do think this is feasible because Nintendo goes crazy and pulls stuff way out of their ass. And I'm going to bring up a picture because I don't know if anybody remembers. Who remembers Rygar?
No.
Rygar was a Nintendo character and could very easily be done as a Smash character. And again, I have no information.
What is he from?
Rygar is a Nintendo game called Rygar. It's called Rygar. And you had this little spinning.
He could be the retro character.
He could be.
What about, I don't know. I was going to say Pitfall.
But
I start randomly like...
Pitfall's an Atari game, though.
I swear that's not a Nintendo game.
It's Nintendo.
I know it says Nintendo. I just...
I played it on the Nintendo. And actually...
You're the only one.
I think it came over to Sega, maybe?
Well, Golden Axe was a Sega game.
Well, if we're going to put another Sega character,
from 1986.
I want Knights.
You want what?
I want Knights.
Knights in the Dreams?
Mm-hmm. If we're going to put any other Sega character.
All right, so I think I'm going to show Rich this video after we sign off, but I think we're going to sign off for now on. Yeah. I hope you guys appreciate our podcast. We want to keep doing it. I'm hoping every week. That's what we're trying to do.
We don't hope that we can keep doing it. We're just going to keep doing it.
No, we hope that you guys like us doing it.
That's what we hope.
What we hope for.
That's what we really hope for.
I love forcing my opinions on other people and trying to convince them that I'm right. That's my favorite thing to do. No, I'm just kidding.
We know, James.
And you can download these episodes on dorkside.podbean.com. So we'll have links. You can get the stuff.
Yep.
All right, Jog, I guess we will see you later. Ozzy, if you're still here, I don't know if you left to go to work.
He fell asleep. It's like 11 a.m. or something over there.
But
probably went to work.
Oh, yeah, this is. All right. So yeah, if you guys appreciate it, we're going to do it again next week. I will try and think of some more topics. It comes naturally to me just because I've started going through my Facebook, and instead of sharing all the cool stuff I see, I write it down
for you guys.
I write it down and I go, hey, this is a good thing to talk about. So yeah, we'll have more nerd news. Hopefully a character announcement or something for Smash.
It'll be February.
A random. Well, you never know. Again, Nintendo has done crazy things. A random announcement for Final Fantasy VII, just out of nowhere would be nice. I'm saying dreams here.
All right,
guys. So totally follow us on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. All those links you can find in our description. Please go follow us, subscribe, and let us know next time in the comments what you would like to hear.
Yeah, if you come to the stream, talk to us.
I guess. And thank you, Brandra, for joining us.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
And sticking with us all the way to the end.
Yeah.
She ate scorpions. She ate ants. She also ate gross chicken sandwiches, which I thought was the worst.
For those of you listening to the podcast and not the Twitch, yes, we do have a Twitch stream where we eat food, and scorpions and ants is something we did eat today. And boy, was that a trip.
Wednesday, 7 p.m. PST
Yep.
to 9 p.m. PST. We eat weird things.
Again,
Sometimes good things, mostly weird things. All right, guys.
all right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
We'll see you guys next time.
Tripping all over my shoes, yeah, I'm falling for you. Ain't nobody like you, yeah, you got me. Tripping all over my shoes, yeah, I'm falling for you. Ain't nobody like you. Tripping all over my shoes, yeah, I'm falling for you. Ain't nobody like you, yeah, you got me. Tripping all over my shoes, yeah, I'm falling